5 races left in the regular season. It's a last gasp for anyone who wants to make the chase for the HTL Cup. The challenge starts here at Michigan International Speedway, a long way from Japan, as we get ready to go racing around the giant D-Oval, 125 laps. As here in Michigan, you're watching live coverage of the HTL Michigan 400 live on ABN1. Joe Cortez, Kevin Young in the booth, Kristina Ryan pushing all the buttons in the back. And Kevin, I think this can be a very entertaining race. 125 laps along the big D oval. These guys know what to do. They know how to do it. The question is, who wants it most?
Yeah, we're in a string of drafty tracks coming up here with Michigan and Talladega back to back. So it pays to know how to see the air and make those moves when you need to. And it's going to really play in some of these drivers that know how to get on that wheel and really get forward towards the front. But it's going to be very interesting as we now will check in on the weather. This will affect this qualifying session. We'll have to keep an eye on it. It is a single car run. You can see the temperature 73 degrees Fahrenheit, a humidity of 1, and the wind blowing in the north at 11 miles an hour. Other than that, though, it is a picture-perfect day here in Brooklyn, Michigan.
The second of 3 trips to the Twin D-Ovals coming tonight. They first ran of the D-Ovals May 6th at Auto Club Speedway. They run here tonight, and then the season championship will end up at Auto Club Speedway on October 14th. You can catch that live right here on ABN1. Kevin, do you think that tonight could be a precursor to the championship race we have at Auto Club Speedway?
Honestly, I wouldn't totally doubt that. We've seen drivers strong at Fontana, be strong at Michigan, and be strong at the other track you listed off, Fontana
Auto
as well.
Club?
Yeah, Auto Club. 2 Fontanas on the calendar. So overall, it is a situation where it's a good kind of middle ground track. Obviously a little bit different, but still having the same vibes and same kind of situation. So it's, if you see a driver be strong here, you're going to see them be strong at the championship finale. The only question mark is, will they be in the championship 4 to be able to capitalize on that? First car's already hitting the track in qualifying. You can see right there is Martin Roberg, currently starting his first flying laps with a chrome martini scheme docked out on the paint scheme. Drivers will get 1 attempt at a flying lap here, as it's no longer a single group qualifying session or also 2 laps. So 1 attempt, put down a flying lap, and you got to be careful not to send it too deep in the corners. It may be pretty much full throttle, but if you go a little bit too high or low, could upset the car just enough to really invalidate your lap. So as Roberg comes off the last corner here, he will be the torch setter, the torch bearer that will set the time the rest will have to beat, and it's going to be a 38.752, as that is a pretty good lap to start off, as now we'll see James Wright be the second one to put down a time.
0.5 of James Wright now coming off of turn number 4 here in Brooklyn to cross around the rounded D oval. What will his time be at the start-finish line? He turns in a time of 39.586. He's up there right now, but a lot of drivers behind him getting ready to qualify. Bobby Blowers coming off for the Ascent Racing team, and I believe he'll be joined by Byron Jones.
Is the case. We'll wait for confirmation on that as well. As kind of a lot of drivers here just kind of bouncing around, so things can change in a dime. But there you can see Bobby Blowers, another car, another paint scheme, another drive he's filling in. Super Sub living up to that name. And he came from heartbreak last week, where actually 2 weeks ago, I should say, where he came so close to winning Pocono. Obviously, it was not at Suzuka last week. His wife a little bit further down the grid here tonight. But you can see right now, coming off the start, his flying lap. The driver to keep an eye out for. He's very strong at plate tracks and very strong at these drafty tracks, so he could be a bit of a dark horse to take victory here today, as he now starts his flying lap in the number 97 for Ascent Racing.
A little bit of trade between NFG Motorsports and Ascent Racing this week. Last week it was Blowers in the 19 and Byron Jones in the 91 or 97. This week it's the absolute opposite, as Bobby Blowers will take his qualifying lap. Single qualifying run for Ascent Racing and the 97 team coming off of turns 3 and 4. Now by Blowers, the Super Sub, continuing. He may run for every team by the end of the season. That just may be an inevitable fact. I think he may complete the full tour and should get at least something for that. 39 even for Bobby Blowers. That puts him up on second right now behind Martin Roberg. Byron Jones about to cross the start-finish line as well, running the NFG Motorsports 19 machine. He will turn in a time as he goes down on the apron, 30.913, or 39.105, I take it back. That'll put him provisionally in third.
Yeah, with both these drivers being very strong, both teams winning out in this equation here. But obviously, Flowers keeps getting the phone to ring because he's someone that you can definitely count on to get you a good finish when you need it. Next up, the number 74, usually piloted by Jeremy Braille, an independent for B-Tron, now piloted by Connor Morse in that number 74. A very young driver as he comes on out here to start his warm-up lap to start his flying lap. The other car will be joining is Tommy Reynolds, the Daytona 500 victor many moons ago, well over 12 weeks. He will join on the track as well here, and we'll see his lap time in a little bit. But as Morse comes off to finish up his warm-up lap, you can see going high to the wall usually seems to be the strategy at these very fast D-Oval and Super Speedway tracks, as now he will start his flap in his number 74 machine.
Connor Morse had his best finish in 8th place after that Season 4 Daytona 500 opening race. So in the spot speed machine, 74 spot speed machine, he should have a strong showing here today. Very similar tracks, Daytona and Michigan, in the fact that they're both very wide, lots of room for racing, and very fast D-ovals. In the draft, you can get nearly up to 200 miles per hour off of the back straightaway, and then have to woe it down to figure out how to make these big turns work for you. Here he comes through the start-finish line. Connor Morse turns in a time of 38.739. That puts him on the provisional pole, but there's still a lot of qualifying left to do.
Yeah, you can see as well, Tommy Reynolds running out that American paint scheme. Gonna have to be to 38.73. We'll see what he can do as he comes across the line. Nice onboard shot, 38.862. Good enough for the second row, but not good enough to bump off that number 74 from pole position, but at least good for the 96. So next car is coming out here. Looks like Gary Donaldson, the 22 machine, will be one of the next cars. I think the next one should be the number 99, Elias Flores. We'll wait on confirmation for that. But as you can see, Gary Donaldson's having an interesting season so far, to say the least. He's putting down all right finishes and all right results, and he's someone at the moment that's a little bit of ways away from trying to get into the playoffs. So he's someone that, as the kind of the pressure builds here, he's going to have to try to find his way either into victory lane or really start getting good finish after good finish if he wants to try to clock his way into the playoffs with a little over 5 weeks to go. He and a lot of other drivers are going to now start feeling the pressure as time is running out to make the playoffs. But as Gary Donaldson starts his flying lap, we'll see what he can do.
Best finish for the Tombstone Motorsports driver was at Martinsville all the way back in Season 2 3 years ago. His best finish was 3rd place, and this season has not gone exactly as well as he has hoped for. His teammates at Unforgiven, at Tombstone, have all found a little bit of success on the track, but Gary Donaldson, not exactly banner year for him as he tries to qualify here tonight. We'll see if maybe he can turn his luck around in the Irish Hills of Michigan. Coming off of turn number 4, Gary Donaldson goes with the Geico restart zone for the last time, comes to the start-finish line, and officially turns in a slip of 39.410. That would put him provisionally in 6th place. The 99 of Elias Flores about to cross the start-finish line as well. Through the Geico restart zone, he'll go, and the Ascent Racing machine turns in a time of 39.044. That's going to put him right now in the top 5.
And that's one of those things that kind of stinks, is when your teammates are having success and your teammates are strength around you and getting victories, getting finishes, and you're kind of that outside looking in situation, it can really make you feel kind of sad. It can make you really feel like a kick in the teeth, like a dog out on a cold, rainy day, just wondering what he has to do to find his way back inside the warmth. But I think Donaldson definitely will find his form eventually here and try to get that performance back on. Next up is Seth Wansing in the 5, who'll be the 1 of the 2 cars to pilot along with the 20 as well. Hunter Peach will be the 2 cars to set times here. Wansing, obviously, strong driver at these draft tracks, very aggressive to really make moves up front. So he could definitely be a situational driver to really see make a pole run here. So he comes across the line in his Larson-inspired paint scheme, maybe getting a little bit of luck from the driver that won in real life last night, as he comes on now to start his flying lap.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about last night. We don't talk about last night, Kevin.
Did a bet go bad for you, Joe?
Let's just say my bookie's not very happy with me right now.
Oh God, I just make sure you bandage up your kneecaps there, because don't start investing in concrete shoes.
I'm going to do everything I can to avoid them. Seth Wansing, the second NFG Motorsports driver to come around and turn in a qualifying time. He crosses the line, 39.044, officially his time. That puts him just outside the top 5. Hunter Peach in the number 20 machine. He will also cross the line. 2 NFG Motorsports drivers back-to-back through the Geico restart zone he goes. He will use the apron at the start-finish line, try to get a little faster, 38.912 his time, and that puts him squarely in the top 5.
Yep, P4 for him, currently in the second row, just outside Tommy Reynolds. Next 2 cars coming up, the Dr. Pepperman of Austin Mongold for A-Set Racing. He'll be one of 2 cars to take his lap. The other will be the number 11 machine. Will be coming out as well. Believe it is still piloted by Casey Ellis. It is piloted by Casey Ellis, so they will be the 2 on track at their times. You can see right there, Austin Mongold go very low, trying to be a little bit cheeky to get those tires warmed up to get up to optimal speed here to put down a flyer. So he even got a good finish last week, actually 2 weeks ago at Pocono too. Got to run Pocono, it was 2 weeks ago. Suzuka was last week. But overall though, had a good finish at Pocono, got a top 5 run, and he comes across the line now looking to try to replicate what last time we were in the States with the run he had.
Arrowhead Racing and Ascent Racing, 2 teams who have had a lot of driver shifts over the past year. Arrowhead Racing has gone through a lot of drivers, and Tommy Reynolds, the latest rookie to take on the 96 for that team, and Austin Mongold actually being one of the few stalwarts that have run nearly every race for Ascent Racing in that 91 machine. I appreciate the fact they've added a little bit of that Dr. Pepper coloring to him on the back end as he wiggles it, coming in through turns 3 and 4. Past the Geico restart zone he goes, and he turns in a qualifying time, 38.957. Could have been a little better if he didn't have that wiggle going through. That'll still put him, though, in position number 5. Casey Ellis, the number 11 machine, the Ghost Energy car, is going to come through and turn in her time as well. Not going to use the apron, but it's going to come close. Her official time, 39.903. That barely hangs on to the top 10.
Yeah, that's a situation that we saw with Mongold. It's even though it's flat down, if you take a bad line or you get a little squirrely trying to get on that power late, it can catch you napping. So you got to make sure you get the throttle X point, the best point. Make sure you hit your points correctly so the car does not get upsettled. Next 2 cars coming out are going to be Tommy Withers, number 23. Loves running his Bubba Wallace-inspired paint schemes. You'll see him decked out in the U.S. Air Force paint scheme. He'll be one of 2 cars taking the track. The other one will be the 78 machine of Richard Odie, will be the second one. Obviously, Tommy Withers obviously runs some Bubba paint schemes. Obviously, I think in the A-Square competition, he ran a lot of Bubba schemes, including the McDonald's Chicago Street Course one, which was a fire scheme, if you do ask me my opinion on that one. But Withers going very slow on the apron here. Very oddity. Looks like he's going to abort this lap, and he is possibly going to come on in, which is odd as this was not an official attempt. Well, it could be as he came across the line, but now he's coming on in. So I'll have to see what exactly the issue is and see if he gets resent out. But he is coming into his box now, so I guess we will pivot to Richard Odie in a second here. But I'll be on the horn here to see what exactly is causing this problem.
Issues for the 23 as the 78 now comes down and turns in his no, take it back. This won't be his qualifying lap. This will be his hot lap. He comes down and comes across the line for his first lap. Richard Odie has had a very quiet season. Not a bad season, but a very quiet season. He's a one-time HTL National Series winner all the way back in Season 1 at Chicagoland. This year running as a single-car team with OD3 Racing. The rookie in the Cup Series has, again, very quiet season, but nothing to be ashamed of. He's held his own very well. Last week he ended up not finishing, but he knew he was outgunned at Suzuka East. So this time he's hoping to recover from that in a big way. At the start-finish line, the 78 turns in a time of 39.765. He's at the bottom of the scoring totem right now.
Yeah, being a privateer can be very hard, especially being a one-car team. You got to kind of rely on yourself to get the understanding of the track. And unlike other teams, you can kind of bounce off each other, understand, hey, this is what I'm doing here, this is what I'm doing here. You got to do it all by yourself. And you got to give props to Odie. He's making slow inroads while learning this car, learning this situation, and really trying to put a best foot forward as a privateer. Got to respect the hustle and determination to make that car go fast. Next 2 cars hitting the track are going to be the 94 machine of Christopher Pendel and the 71 of Lily Sharp will be the next 2 cars hitting the circuit. Obviously, Pendel rocking out the Cherry Pepsi machine, so another soda-inspired paint scheme on this grid, even though it is a usual scheme we see him in. So as he comes out the restart zone right now, ready to start his flying lap, we'll see what that 94 machine can do.
The first of the three Premier Racing Club Ford Mustangs we will see out here on the track. He only has one HTL Cup Series win all the way back in Season 2, back at Rockingham. Lily Peltier Sharp, the other car coming out. Talk about a rough run. She was looking very strong at Suzuka East last week. However, a penalty that for passing the pace car when going on to pit road after stage 1 effectively ended her night, left her finishing over 1 lap down to the competitors. So hopefully we'll see a bounce back from her tonight. Christopher Pendel brings a Wild Cherry Pepsi machine across the line, 39.221. He will qualify outside the top 10. Lily Peltier Sharp now doing the same thing as she takes her car across the line. What will the Stepping Stone Motorsports driver do as she crosses the Geico restart zone? She will turn a time of 38.907. And that puts her all the way up to position number 4.
Yeah, some weird situations with Peltier Sharp the past couple weeks. She's found ire by the stewards because of weird mistakes or weird issues where pace car violations and other things. So she's got to be just careful, make sure she keeps an eye on the rules and doesn't really make any mistakes. And she'd definitely be someone that could find victory lane. Next up, Zachary Apperson in the Ford machine was at Suzuka East last week, ended up getting crashed out in that incident. Now back here in Michigan, just trying to get a good run here. Another driver that has been slowly kind of just hovering around the mid-20s in the playoffs, getting 25. Definitely not a season he has been happy about per se. You're only as good as your previous race, and right now at the moment, your next best, this race right now is the best chance to shine. He will also be flanked by the number 29 of Alfred Denny. So as the Ghost Energy machine comes across the start-finish line now, we'll see what Apperson can do, and maybe he can join his Unforgiven teammates up towards the front.
Apperson has never won in the HTL Cup Series. His best finish came in Season 2 at Talladega, but knowing that he is strong at super speedways, this could play into his benefit. No, it's not a plate race. No, it's not just the hammer down, turn left. I'm going to get some ire from that from my friends here in the booth, but nonetheless, because he's good at super speedways, he should be good managing the car here on this very, very wide track, very quick track, and all he has to do is be patient, and he could work his way up the ladder and ultimately find victory lane for the first time. 39.290 is his official time, and that will put the 4 at right now in 13th position. Alfred Denny also coming around, the second of the Tombstone drivers to come around pit road in that very, very colorful, Grounded Hounds Coffee Co. machine. He'll turn a time of 39.272. That'll also qualify him outside the top 10.
Yep, not good runs there, and I'm keeping an eye on the weather too. Obviously, track temperatures is held, wind is held, but as the session goes on, the track gets a little bit more grippy. As you can see right there, temperature 75, wind now basically the same. It went down 1 degree in the north, and the humidity is still the same. But track condition has risen a little bit, only up 3 degrees. It was about 83 when we started. It's now 87 right now at the moment. It's actually a little bit more than 4 or 5. So it has grown, but not interficial enough, you would think, that it could affect these drivers. Next 2 cars up are going to be the 25 machine. Will be one of 2 of Blake Henderson, and the 17 of Zachary Meredith with the other one. As you can see, as Kristina puts on the screen here, he has the longest winless streak in HTL, a streak he'd love to break here and try to make it into the playoffs, as he's not trying to go 2 seasons while making it into the playoffs here. Running off into the corner here, keeping his speed up at the moment in that WW2K24 scheme, and we'll see what the dead man can do here on the second half of his lap.
You know, fun fact about Blake Henderson, he actually named his team not after The Undertaker, but after the movie Tombstone, because he's a big fan, Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer. How could you not be in that film? But he has embraced, with his 2K24 paint schemes, he has embraced the title of the Dead Man, and he is looking to put the Tombstone down on some of these drivers out here. His official time, 39.188, so move the 25. Not a great qualifying time. He will finish in 12th. The other driver on track right now, I believe that is going to be the 17, Zachary Meredith, in the Red Bull scheme, going back to the Team Red Bull days, 38.868, so move the 17 now to position number 4, but nobody has touched a qualifying time of Connor Morse yet.
Yeah, it looks like one of those, that scheme there of the 17 looks kind of reminds me of the old Scott Speed AJ Allmendinger 84 machine rather than the Brian Fingers at 83. So we'll see if that provides a little bit luck. Obviously, no offense at 84, but the less successful of the two Red Bull cars when their team time in NASCAR was racing around. Next car up is going to be the 8 of David Steele Jr. made his appearance last week at Suzuka East. Back here again, filling in for Caitlin.
Callie Height.
Callie, thank you. Callie Height filling in for her as she's been gone a couple weeks. Obviously trying to get something fixed in, I believe, her sim rig. So as she comes off, as they come off, I am all over source here. But you'll see David Smeal, Truck Series regular, coming across the line to start his flying lap. He will also be joined by the 2 of Josh Arnold in his pizza and wings combo machine. So we'll see what the 8 can do. Obviously, there is the pressure of coming in as a fill-in driver with maybe driving these next-gen cars in some other leagues but feeling the pressure of HTL being drafted up, try to pilot that car to success that is found with Kelly behind the wheel. It's no strong feat to try to put down good times.
Lady Liberty and Valfreya Motorsports are obviously one of the most two dominant teams out here on the series, with Josh Soucy getting multiple wins this season. I think is up to 3 now, with the strength of Caitlin Height, who's had multiple top 3 podium finishes. They are the team to beat, and David Smeal Jr. obviously showing that in his equipment as well. To 39.020, he will qualify position number 9 right now. And I believe the other driver on the track is going to be the coast-to-coast racing driver of Josh Arnold in that number 2 machine. He will come to the start-finish line now. He'll turn in time with 38.899, and that'll be good enough for P5 right now.
Yeah. Times are beginning to raise here as drivers are finding their grip here. And obviously, you do expect that as qualifying is reverse order from previous week's success. Obviously, though, some of those cars and some of those situations, some of them did have fill-in drivers, road course ringers, if you will, pilot those machines. So it's interesting to see how that affects, because usually it's not oval to oval, it's road course to oval, which could have a little bit of effect on some drivers, maybe a little bit higher up and down that affect performance. Next 2 up are going to be the 31 of the Mate Datsun. He will be 1 or 2 cars. And the other one, the unsuspended now 57 of Bianca Constantinu, was not at Suzuki's, even though being a road course regular, as got a penalty from Pocono. Now back in the car, ready to operate that 57 and trying to show that she could be strong. She is strong on the road courses, but the ovals are now her playground as well. Monte Dotson, the rookie, will start their flying lap now. And we'll see where they can put that American Airlines machine and maybe fly it to the front row.
The 31, another part of that Valfreya stable in alliance with Lady Liberty. He's had a very not an understated season, but a season that has definitely played to his advantage. He's shown flashes of talent throughout the season, so hopefully this race will also play in very well for him. It's a big oval. He's done very strong at 1.5 tracks. Let's see if 2 miles can play into his wheelhouse as well. Through turns 3 and 4, DeMonte Dotson will go to turn his time in for the 31 machine at the start-finish line. He turns an official time of 38.893, put him now in position number 5, bumping down Josh Arnold. The 57 of Constantino also coming around for her 1 qualifying lap. On the apron she'll go in the Monster Energy machine. Crosses the time with 39.106. Not a great qualifying time, currently sitting 16th.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a kick in the teeth, but it's not where you qualify, it's where you finish. Kanatsu is definitely a late riser, finding the pace they need later on. Next 2 cars hitting the track right now. The first of the 2 will be obviously Dean Clevitt, the Canadian man. This is not, as Blake Henderson always calls him, maybe a fake Canadian or a Canadian light. So this race being so close to the Canadian border, this is almost a home race for the HTL driver here, Dean Clevitt, as we do not actually go to Canada in this calendar of HTL. So obviously the closest he's probably going to get to a home race, so he wants to show up for the virtual Canadian fans that traveled across the border. Other driver also is going to be Dustin Hall. He'll be the second car to hit the track now, as he will also be trying to set down a time. So as the 90 comes across the line right now, we'll see where he can slot his number 90 machine and maybe find his way towards the front.
Kevin, I've been to this track in real life, and there's 2 things I can tell you about it. Number 1, yes, a lot of Canadians do come around for this track because it's so close to the border. A lot of Canadian fans show up here, and they are a lot of fun to party with. Number 2, this track is ginormous. You look at it, and you see it on screen, and you see that it's big. It is very minuscule compared to standing in the middle infield of that D-Oval. How insane it actually is, and how gigantic this track is. Through the Geico restart zone we go. Dean Clevitt, the 90 machine, turns in a time of 39.119. So score the 90 Not a great move for him. That's going to put him now in around 17th. Dustin Hall, the number 12 machine, also coming around. He is I believe, the the other driver for Unforgiven Motorsports. Cross the start finish line, 38.791 of the Tombstone Unforgiven drivers. He's qualified the best, now in third.
It's interesting because Dustin Hall has a penalty, an EOL from last week at Suzuka. We saw that incident he had. So he is in a situation, as we see the Canadian flag zooming in. Obviously, Dean Clevitt would be very happy about that. But to go back to my point, with the 12 obviously getting that penalty, obviously he won't keep his position, but there is the one positive in the sense that he is basically going for his pit box, and getting further down can definitely help you in those bang-bang plays on pit road if we have green or even stage-ending cautions to make it work. Other drivers getting EOLs include the 12 of Hall, the 57 of Constantinu, the 78 of Odie, the 64 of Britton, the 74, our pole sitter of Connor Morris, he'll have to start in the back, and the 97 as well, with the cars are getting EOL. So most of them are just going for pole qualifying and get the pit box selection. Next two cars on flying laps, as I finished my little speech there. The 28 will be the one of the two on the track. It's going to be Matthew Boone and Jeremy Braille for Arrowhead, with the two cars trying to set times.
So Connor Morris will walk away with the pole, but he won't be able to keep it. So right now, it's still anybody's race. All you have to do is get in second, and you will effectively start this race on the front row. A couple other drivers getting additional penalties will be the 74 and 57. We'll go over that before the race begins. Matthew Boone now coming through turns 3 and 4, coming past the entry for pit lane. The first of the two Arrowhead drivers getting their qualifying time in 38.997 or 977 will be position number 11. The next one, the 44 of Jeremy Braille, another super sub who has found a home at Arrowhead, goes to the apron, turns in a time of 39.025, not his best attempt. He'll start 14th.
Yeah, not a great lap for either driver, but we'll have to see how it all goes here. Next two cars, obviously the teammate of Jeremy Braille and Arrowhead Racing. Chad Swatsworth was a very strong driver. Fontana, I should say.
Fontana.
Correction on there. It's tomato, tomato, Joe. Tomato, tomato. But anywho, Swatsworth, very strong at Auto Club. We'll just avoid the chaos by calling it that instead. Heads out onto the track here. Never is great at these drafting tracks, find speed, but he's yet really to find victory at these tracks. And for someone that is a championship favorite in about 12 weeks, right now, doing good in the standings, per se, highest of the non-winners. So he's looking poised 150 above the cut line, but really would like to get a win to get that momentum in the right direction. Other car on the track also will be the 27 machine. They will also hit the track as well of Selena Thompson. So right now, 18 of Swatsworth on his flying lap, going to try to put that in pole position and maybe bring Arrowhead another pole position. It's been so long, trying to find a way to get that back to him.
Two anchors for their teams this year, Chad Swatsworth and Selena Thompson. Chad Swatsworth, the only driver, I believe, in the Arrowhead Racing team that has stayed for all the races in their machine. So Swatsworth definitely has a leadership and a little bit of seniority in that car to help guide the team to the championship position they want to be in. They started the season with, they want to finish it out and have a good, strong finish to end the season. 39.065 for the 18. That will not be his best attempt. He'll go ahead and being the 17. Selena Thompson, another driver who's had a very quiet season. She won her first HTL race at this track in the Truck Series. So she could have a big showing. She's had great runs so far. She could have a great showing here tonight. 38.904 her time. That should put her in the top 10.
Great run. Didn't know NOS made a great flavored energy drink. So, hey, more you know, more you learn. So next car coming across the line will be the 00. Actually, now he's coming across the line, leaving the pit lane. Pacey Wygant, who won at Auto Club many moons ago, and you could argue is a favorite as he's very strong at these very drafty tracks, as he will come out on the circuit. Other car will be Lilac here in the 50 machine. Tried a good strategy last week to try to get a victory. It just sadly couldn't pull it off, but still, great finish at Suzuka East for her as she is leaving her pit lane now. So Pacey Wygant, you could say, has the favorites to maybe bump off Morse here, but can't even count Zero as well. So as that 00 comes across the line to start their flying lap, we'll see where the coast-to-coast driver can slot that number's 00 machine.
Pacey Wygant, another driver who's built himself a very strong season, already has a win, so he's locked in to the chase when we go racing in about 5 weeks' time from now. He's already locked in. He's got his win. He doesn't have to worry about it. but another win would also help his points when crunch time comes down. So basically, Wygant probably not going to leave anything on the track tonight. Look for him to continue having a strong race, having a good race overall, and look for him to try to make his way up front and potentially pick up another checkered flag on the season. Through the Geico restart zone he goes at a turn-in time of 38.879. That right now scores Facey Wygant within the top 10. We'll see how far he falls as a result of that. Lilac Zier, again, who you said, great pit strategy last week, just couldn't hold on to the very end. The stepping stone driver turns in a time of 38.962, and that scores her position 13.
And maybe skipping stones could definitely help with aerodynamics if you can find out to skip the stones. But next up, the number 9 of Eli Sasek. We one of 2 cars to come out now on the circuit. Obviously running the same scheme he ran at Suzuka East last week. Figured it may have been a one-off as Ascent really loves running their logo on their machines. But hey, back in the sky blue cloudy paint scheme here, in reference to an anime that I cannot really recognize. But hey, if we get Sasek in the podium interviews, we'll definitely ask him his opinion on what is on that car. Maybe. Obviously, Kristina is you could argue, the anime expert around here. If it was in sports anime, I'd definitely be ready to answer those questions. But she has a clue, but we'll see. We'll let her do a little bit of research behind the scenes. But Sasek, one of 2 cars pulling out the track. The other, DJ Trout, a road course specialist, but definitely not a slouch on the oval swell on the track on circuit as well. But Sasek now in his flying lap, we'll see where he can take that sky blue machine and maybe find its way towards the front.
You're telling me you let your Crunchyroll subscription elapse?
Look, $60 a month is a little high. Let's just be honest with ourselves.
I got mine from the company.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sony cut you a check.
No, not Sony, ABN.
Oh. I'm gonna have to have a talk about Carmen about that one and find out where's my offer.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah.
Sasek comes across the line. He gets the waifu on the front to 15th. And then you can see Trout coming off of 3 and 4 as well. Going to try to slot his number 93 machine towards the front. Good drift off. It's going to have to be a flyer here. 38.73 is the time to beat for the number 93. Coming across the line, 39.041. And it's going to be P19 for Trout. And this track temp has really gone up. It's now 92 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about, give or take, 10 degrees higher than it was at the start. So this could really affect the last few runners here.
Warm tracks are slippy tracks. But these guys, if you have anyone who's going to be able to figure it out, it's the next 2 drivers who will close our qualifying session. Caitlin Height, who finished second last week, and Joshua Gaiman, your winner at Suzuka. Caitlin Height will now take, again, another driver who's really built a very strong season for herself. She's had multiple podium wins. She won at Indianapolis, so she's in the championship. We know that she's going to be a contender when we go green flag racing for the championship. The question is, how well will she do? And I've got a feeling just the way she showed up in the second half of this season, she's going to have a great opportunity to really make some noise in the chase for the HTL Cup. Running a Ferrari-inspired paint scheme, this is her second win of the week of doing F1-inspired paint schemes. Last week it was Williams. This week it is Ferrari. What do you think next week will be? Red Bull? McLaren?
I mean, if it's McLaren, obviously you're going to have a bad team order go the wrong way and make animosity between teammates. You'll see Sosi and Height have a little bit of a little flip-flop. But obviously the Ferrari's got to be worried about the pit stop strategies. Make sure she didn't bring over those mechanics on her pit box. Coming across the line, though, the 3 will come in. It'll be P16 for the 38.992. And here's Josh Gaiman, the other car on the flyer. Again, having a good renaissance here to finish the standings here. It's going to come across the line as number 33 for Simware Racing. And it's going to be a 39.081. So these drivers really topping out at the low 15s in position to the high 20s. So it's definitely showing this track has really lost its touch. I don't think it's unlikely these drivers will catch Connor Morse's time, but if one driver could do it, it's probably going to be the 81 machine of Joshua Sosi. He's leaving the pit box now in a Jeff Gordon-inspired paint scheme here as he now heads away here, and we'll see if he can be the one that breaks and catches Connor Morse's time.
And Kevin, actually, I stand corrected. It was Susi that won last week in the 81 for the third time in that Hello Kitty paint scheme. I don't think he's won a race outside of that pink and white Hello Kitty paint scheme, which just fit perfectly in Japan. But today, he may have a little trouble out here running that Jeff Gordon-inspired paint scheme instead of the one that we know wins and wins and wins. The Nitro 81 will start his flying lap right now, and at this point, if he doesn't beat 38.7, he will not be starting on front row.
Yeah, that is something he'll have to fly. And with this track losing its grip, it's going to be interesting to see. Now, obviously, Gordon had some good luck at Michigan throughout the years. Very high-low, but definitely something you could expect to finish in the top 5 most often than not. So hopefully that scheme provides him the same luck that Hello Kitty Pink did those previous weeks. But as he comes across the line, bringing it low behind the tri-oval, can he beat the 38.73? Right now, ooh, it looks close. And he did not do it. 38.884 P7. I always saw it flash up for a second. Thought it was higher, but it corrected itself. But still, top 10 run for the Gordon Sky paint scheme. And Connor Morse will be your pole sitter. But remember, he does have an EOL, so he'll get the trophy and get the glory, but he will not be starting on the front row.
He will not be starting on the front row. The 12, the 57, 78, 64, 74, 97, all will drop to the end of the qualifying line. And the 74 and 57 also have additional penalties. They'll both have to be forced to take a drive-through to start their race. So the 74 of Connor Morse and the 57 of Bianca Constantino will both effectively start one lap down, as they will be forced to drive through pit road to start their race this tonight. So tough break for both of them, especially with the pole sitter.
Yeah, and that's why it pays to be clean. You don't want to avoid getting in incidents in penalties because it can make wrath and make pay. There is obviously going to inherit the pole, Martin Roberg. He will be our official pole sitter coming to the flag, but not going to get the trophy or the glory. But still, at the very least, a little pat on the back for the Martini 35. First car to go out there, and he set a time that only one of the driver can beat. Hey, you can't really be frowns about that. Speaking of, since we are at an oval, we will talk about some of the new news that has come down the pipeline through HTL situations. Obviously, we'll talk about it more if we get to that situation, because obviously with this track, Michigan, Talladega, obviously being pwned to green white checkers, we have now lost the unlimited rule for green white checkers. We will now have a max of 3 attempts if we do need them. And secondly, there's now a smaller incident limit when it comes to disqualifications. So as you can see right there is the flash up with the green white checker rules. Obviously still same procedures apply, but now only 3 attempts. And secondly, now with the DQ limit being shrinked, drivers have to be careful not to really get in dust-ups and walls or get in collisions, because if you get maybe 2 or 3 little side accidents that don't really totally total you, you're already going to have maybe 12x, 10x, 14x, and you're not that far away from finding out that a disqualification is key. So you got to be careful, keep it clean, and this is definitely a good step in the right direction to make sure the racing stays competitive here in HTL, but also respectful and also not drag on throughout the night.
No, these are after the Pocono race. These are some very good changes for the HTL series. Limiting the green light checker attempts to 2 and reducing the amount of trouble you can start on the track is a great start to improve racing quality, to ensure that your drivers have their heads in the game and that they are all there for the same thing, to race clean and win clean, especially as we get ready to put it all down, put all the money down for the championship coming up in just a couple of months' time. So a lot of great news coming out of HTL. We look forward to it, and we will remind you of it as we go, as we take a big hit there riding along with Roberg.
Yeah, it's an odd situation. You usually don't ride on board when accidents happen like that. And a car flipping there, I think that's the 97. So an A-Cent racing car taking a flip there as well. Big lick, engine smoking, as we valuable practice warm-up time lost for Roberg. Will now come back to pit lane. But like I was saying, you don't usually catch that on camera right on board when it happens. So like catching lightning in a bottle or seeing a unicorn, it's definitely a sight to see. But anyway, 2 minutes and some change to go here. Drivers can use the opportunity to use the bathroom, do whatever they need to, practice pit lane entry and exit. It may not be the most trickiest, but it is hard to get that car from going about 200 miles an hour to pull it off to get into pit lane. So definitely a good opportunity to get that speed understood and don't speed in the pit lane, because pedaling could be costly, and a 45-second hold for speeding in the pit lane could take you from having a chance to win for being 2 laps down and basically out of this race.
Very much so. The last thing you want to do is have a mental lapse, especially on pit road. Coming too hot. And you could easily go one lap down. You could easily go a little bit more, depending on when that pit stop is. Kevin, it's going to be a long race tonight. 125 laps around the 2-mile D Oval. Who are you watching tonight?
Well, if I had to look over some names here, obviously Roberg was very strong getting in pole position. Not going to lock him in as my favorite. Obviously, no. Oh, yeah, we'll give Roberg a shout here. I'll give him his flowers. He's definitely shown some good pace coming in late into the series. Definitely can't count him out. Second driver, let's go, obviously, with Chad Spotsworth. I think he's someone that showed pace at these fast D-Tribe ovals. I don't think you can count him out in any regard, and he'll definitely be up there closing late. And lastly, I'm going to go Seth Wansing as my dark horse here. I feel like he shows his pace, and we saw him at Charlotte. We saw him at tons of tracks, kind of qualify poor, work his way towards the front. He's just got to be careful to make sure his internet holds, and he'll be a threat late on to find his way to victory lane.
As for me, the two drivers I think we're going to be talking about all night are the 00 Pacey Wygent and the 81 of Joshua Susi. Both those drivers have been very strong at these 2-mile D ovals. We saw them put on a show at Auto Club Speedway, so it would not surprise me if once again tonight they end up being the cream of the crop. And as the Macho Man Randy Savage used to say, the cream always rises to the top. My dark horse is going to be the 27 of Selena Thompson. Again, another driver who's had a quiet season so far, but has been quietly working to continually improve herself and build our way up this track. So if anybody's going to have a good run tonight, I think it's going to be the 27, who's primed to be in a great position, assuming we don't get any more incidents on as we see her getting involved in one there.
So now we officially pivot on to the main race here. Warm-up is now officially concluded, now, and we are ready to go here on ABN1 for the HTL Michigan 350 at, Michigan, to kind of go by the name here in Brooklyn, USA. We are now going to see the starting lineup here, and Joe, why don't you see who is on the front row and work our way down?
Officially on the front row will be the 74 of Connor Morrison, 35 of Roebuck. Remember, 74 has a drive-through penalty, so the 74 will not start first. He'll be lapped down when everything comes to green flag racing. Row number 2 on the inside will be the 12 of Dustin Hall, who also has a penalty. He'll drop at the end along this line. Tommy Reynolds, 96. Officially scored in 4th. The 17 is Zachary Meredith, as will turn in time to be position number 5. The 00 Pacey Wygent, officially position number 6. Row number 4 belongs to 81 of Joshua Sosi, last week's winner at Suzuka. The 31 of Damate Dotson, the rookie, will put his American Airlines machine in position 8. Josh Arnold will be in the inside of row number 9, and running out the top 10, Kevin, the 27 is Selena Thompson.
Was so great to jump in there. We'll move further on here. It's almost ready to go here as Sharp and Peach will make up row number 6 here. Moving on to row number 7 is going to be Austin Moncrief, Dr. Pepperman, and Lilac here. They'll be in row number 7. Moving on to row number 8 will be Matthew Boone and Eli Sasick. Nice little row there, 2 competitive cars in row 8. Row 9, Caitlin Height, very slow spot for her, along with Bobby Flowers. Expect them to find their way up the front quite quickly. David Smeal Jr. and Jeremy Braille will make up row number 10. Moving to row 11, you got DJ Trout and Elias Flores in row number 11. Row 12 will be Seth Wansing and Chad Slotsworth. The double S's will make up the next row in row number 12. Damon and Ellis will make up row number 13. Moving on to row 14 with Byron Jones and Bianca Constantinu, another driver that will have a drive-through to serve once the race starts. Row 15, Dean Clavitt and Blake Henderson, another 2 drivers to expect to get towards the front in row 15. Christopher Pendow and Alfred Denny will be in row number 16. Row 17 will be Zachary Apperson and Gary Donaldson. Row 18 will be James Wright and Richard Odie. And in the last 2 rows, we got Tommy Withers and Kevin Goody Jr. in row 19. And last but not least, William Britton did not set a time. We'll also have an EOL, but obviously starting in the back. You don't have to worry. He'll be in row 20, position P30.
39 drivers will start tonight's race. No cars will go home. Everyone will have a shot to take the race. Current conditions for the race, according to the National Weather Service, currently sunny outside with a temperature of 80, wind coming out of the west at 12 miles per hour. That breeze will definitely have an effect on these cars as they go around this track. I forget which way it's oriented. I believe it's oriented towards the northeast. So on the backstretch, that 12 mile per hour wind will definitely have a little bit of an effect on them, kind of give them a boost. Or maybe it's a crosswind. I don't know, Kevin. You know these things better than I do.
I think it is a crosswind if my information is correct. You're kind of doing a quick little Google search. I think it is a crosswind situation. You also see by the flags as well that they're blowing in a nice crosswind direction. So that could really upset the cars. Ask, kind of use another F1 reference here because I got that on the mind. Ask Nico Rosberg how a crosswind can definitely affect the car on a windy day. So as we got one more to go here on this lap here before we see the green flag. Roberg obviously promoted the front row, but also don't count that as well for Zachary Meredith, who got a big promotion as well. Obviously a champion in his own right a couple seasons ago. Driver that's still looking for his first win this season, has a long winless drought up there with Blake Henderson. Would love to try to crack that in that Red Bull-inspired paint scheme, maybe taking some advantage in real life.
The 17 and 35 will be your front row as we get ready to go to green flag racing. I believe we'll go this time by. The lights are off on the first racing Ford Mustang pace car. So when we go green flag racing, it will be Roberg, the 35, in position number 1, electing to start on the outside with the 17 of Meredith on the inside. Pace car is going to make that hard left turn down pit road, and we are getting ready to go at the command of the flagman. Once the green flag flies, everyone will be clear to go, and here we go. Martin Roberg crosses a line, and we are racing at Michigan.
As they come off of 4 here, you can see it's going to be Robert taking off where he left off. He will lead the first lap here. Tommy Reynolds and Josh Mososi moving toward the front here, as you can see action raging on here further back.
The 35, 96, currently first, second, 81 of Susie, also in the mix there as well. So the cream is certainly starting to rise towards the top. Pacey Wygant also now moved up to position number 4. And it looks like Wygant's using that very, very low line down there as Wygant trying to find his way to run through the field faster. But trying to get around Sosi, not going to happen this time by. No draft partners to help him. Now Pacey Wygant getting a shove from the 17 of Meredith. They may go toe-to-toe and try to see if they can work their way back up to the front here. Nope, the 00 is still going to go by himself, try to put Susie up high in order to get that position.
Yeah, that's a situation where you're going to see as these cars are going to have that line, get that run, but it's only about 2 to tango here. You can send it low, as you'll see Wygant do again here, heading off into the corner entry here, and you can see he's going to run it deep, run it low, but then he's not going to really get that pull off he needs to really get that run out. So it's about being patient, and you can see Zachary Meredith right there. He's like, all right, you keep going low here. That's going to allow me the option. Even Dotson is feeling a little bit frisky right now, going to go side by side, but the problem is being on that low side is advantage, but you have to find your way up quickly. You're going to be a sitting duck.
You have to find your way up quickly, or you have to find a friend who will help you get there. Because, again, this is a very drafty track. If you don't have the push from a friend, if you don't have the draft with you, you are definitely going to be left behind in a hurry. As we see Roberg yielding the lead to the 96 machine, who will now take up his first lap for Arrowhead Racing. That's Tommy Reynolds, the rookie, who will now get a lead out there. And in front of them, in front of them, it will be Tommy Reynolds leading the race. He's got quite a jump on the rest of the field.
It's so interesting. You see a lot of chrome cars out here tonight. You got second and third all in chrome machinery, and you also got that Rebel machine in a very silver, so it can definitely be a little extorting in a first glance when you're not really catching it out. Right there, battle for third, you can see Pacey Wygant still just really trying to make something happen here as he is just trying to clip his way in. You can also see Caitlin Height right there in the number 3 machine. She's also moved up 10 spots right now. Definitely a driver you can't count out as she's on that low side trying to get towards the front.
A very strong showing for the 3 of height right this second, and she's going to get a little bit of help drafting as well behind her. Behind the 3, I believe you're going to see the 2 of Josh Arnold, the 8 of David Smeal trying to help his teammate move up towards the front of the field. Meanwhile, back up front, it's going to be Ty Reynolds, still your leader, as Martin Roberg immediately under fire from Pacey Wygant, 3 wide and back towards the rest, deeper in the field, as round Matthew Boone and Lee Sharp.
Yeah, you see right there, Wydra had to come up quickly and almost got into the corner panel of Roberg. And you can also see Caitlin Height really trying to go. She's 3 wide right there. She is taking no prisoners. She's moving up like Leclerc does in that Ferrari-inspired paint scheme. And she is now in the top 5 up 12 spots where she qualified. And she really wants to get up there and take that lead. You can also see Pacey Wygant making a move again on the low side of Roberg. Definitely a one to watch as he's looking to clear here. I think he'll be able to slide up, and he will successfully. So Wygant now officially gets second, Height now to 5th, and shows that you have to be on the aggressive these tracks if you want to find your way towards the front.
Reynolds about 3 car lengths away from Pacey Wygant, but that gap may be closing here very quickly. Susie now in 4th, and Caitlin Height's going to make a big move on the inside. She will try to get side by side with an 81 of Susie. Yes, check that, Susie. But he's not able to continue that momentum. Can't you do it again in turns 1 and 2 with no drafting help? She's certainly going to try. Goes low. Tries to catch up to her teammate. Right now, side by side with the 91 of Austin Mongold. Mongold not giving her the opportunity. She's going to have to side draft a little bit or try to get back into the draft in order to keep her move going.
Meredith will pinch a little bit of a hole there, and that will help out that 3 machine. You can also see David Smeal Jr. taking it 3 wide just in the far shot there as Arnold trying to split it, and you can see it's pretty close right there. Smeal, another driver, really capitalizing on that low side, but right now at the moment can't really get the job done. You can, going back to the 3 here, just gonna have to maybe cut Brett here and slot back up, but never seeing opportunity. And look at Sasek trying to make that high line work in that number 9.
Trying to make that high line work in a 3 wide situation there. DeMonte Dotson has a miracle as a 9 trying to make it work with the rest of the drivers out there. The 8, the 9, the 44, and the 5, and the 5, all in that mix. Now he's going to try it one more time. Sasek now getting over DeMonte Dotson, trying to get position on him. It's going to be 3 wide once again on the front stretch.
Oh, look how that, 4 wide there for the 3 at Caitlin Height. She went way low, and you can look at this. This is basically just what the highway looks like during rush hour. 3 by 3 by 3. Seth Wansing ready to join the fray as well. No driver really going to give an inch here. The question is, can they keep it clue? The 9 drifting up the road. Going to check up just a bit, but everyone's still all pointing in the right direction, which is what you want to see. Sasek getting a little bit loose along with Arnold, and they're going to spin out here, and that is going to be the first caution of the night. Big bumper flying as Wansing, and I believe it's Sasek as well, involved in that incident.
You knew that was coming. The way they were racing, the way they were going 3 wide, 4 wide on the front stretch and into turns 1 and 2, you knew trouble was brewing. It was only a matter of time before that happened. 4 cars involved in that incident, and it all starts around the 9 of Eli Sasek.
Yeah, we'll take a look here on the replay here once we can get it pulled up, and you can see right here, right now playing live, and you can see right there, you can see Braille trying to make a move, and that's the rush that needed, that got Sasek just a bit loose, got into Arnold, and at that point getting speed wobbles at about 180. That's what you not want to see, is both cars get shot low. Wansing and that, I think that's Lilac Sear or James Wright both get a piece as well and get spun around, but luckily Wansing doesn't get hit by anything else, so very minor damage he will get.
Lilac Sear, the 4th driver involved in that incident. So 4 drivers in total involved. And this is not a track where you get a quick repair. You don't have that opportunity here. Even though it's a large track, you don't get the chance to get your quick repair done and get back on the track. So this race could end for a couple drivers out here tonight as you watch it one more time now from the field camera, and you see the 2 losing the nose clip, the 9 getting heavy contact, the 50 making double contact from the front and the back end. Those 3 drivers could be done tonight.
Yeah, heavy damage for all of them. I would not be shocked if that could be at least terminal damage for one, but lengthy repairs for most. Here's pit lane right now. A lot of cars coming in that had damage. Obviously, the highest runner right now that came in was the Monte Dodson, giving up a top 15th run to come in. Hunter Peach as well. Rest of the cars either running in the back or wanting to fix up their machinery. Top 24, though, out currently still on the track. So 24 cars staying out and about, give or take, 15 coming on in for service. And you can see Dotson blinking a bit, trying to get that under control probably. And now trying to get off sequence here, maybe some of these drivers, a few of them filling up for fuel only like Hunter Peach, others coming in for 4 tires, maybe to make a run for the stage here.
Tommy Withers, one of the drivers that was unaffected coming in. James Wright, Dean Clavette, Bianca Contino, who was forced to do the drive-through, as long as Connor Moore. Connor Moore's also coming now off pit road. DeMonte Dotson, William Britton, all coming off pit road. So it looks like, and Kevin Gibney Jr. as well coming off pit road this time by with followed by the 22 of Gary Donaldson. Tonight's race. Nice race. We'll be breaking up in 3 stages with breaks at laps 30s and 70. 6 sets of tires available for everybody in this race. 26 to 29 laps of fuel in between of these 12-gallon fuel cells, and pit road speed 55 miles per hour. If we see some green flag pit stops, which we may towards the end of the race, that's going to be a tough ask to go from 200 to 55.
Well, the one thing at the very least, this caution here helps out these drivers that are staying out to probably get to the end of this first stage on fuel. As we saw, the window was about 26, 29 laps. Obviously, the next stage being a little over 30, there is that risk of running out. So obviously, some of these drivers hedging their bets, trying to make sure if there's any concerns on fuel, they can make sure they make it and maybe even stay out possibly for stage 2, or even try to make some advantage, get some fresh track position with some fresh tires. Field gets bunched up here. Obviously, you can see the Mercedes-inspired paint helmet on Tommy Reynolds, so another F1-inspired something in these cars. So the World F1 invading NASCAR, one helmet or livery at a time, or at the very least HTL. So up front is Reynolds and Wygant. They'll be row 1. Sosi Roberg will be row 2. Meredith Height, row 3. Smeal Braille, row 4. And Austin Mongold and DJ Trout will be the first 5 rows when they come with the green here, and there'll be 16 laps to go for the end of stage number 1.
Tommy Reynolds, once again, or the second sitter on P1 to elect to start on the high side. So the 96 will be your leader and will have the command of the field when we go back to green flag racing. Pacey Wygant, the 00 underneath Joshua Susi, Martin Roberg, and Zachary Meredith rounding out your top 5. Caitlin Height in the top 6 as well. So lots of fun, interesting drivers up here. The cream has definitely found its way to the top very quickly. The question now, Kevin, is who's going to try something crazy early to try to lead some laps?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think some of these drivers definitely want stage points if you're definitely in a championship run, or even Pace Wygant already got that win. Extra stage points can definitely help you out in the long run along with Reynolds. Pace car going to pull on off here, and as they enter the restart zone, it is going to be on Tommy's Reynolds control here. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch by the 96 with Wygant not caught napping. Looking poised to at least hang on to second position at the moment.
Tommy Reynolds in a good run, but he's got a lot of help, and he's got a lot of help on the outside too. The 81 of Susi will stay high. The 35 of Roberg stays high. The 3 of Height. 5 cars up high, 2 down low, trying to push their way up front. The 00 Pacey Wygant getting some help from the 17 of Zachary Meredith. Now the 81's going to drop down low. It looks like Joshua Susi wants to lead some laps.
Yeah, Joshua Susi wants to flex his muscle as a defending champion. He wants to show, hey, when we come to Auto Club in about 12 weeks, I am the threat. You will have to respect me, as he will take the lead here and get ready to lead this lap. See a few drivers definitely getting bargy a little bit in the far shot, but Sosi will lead that lap. Reynolds and Wygant in the next 2 positions here as they battle on for second.
Joshua Susi officially scored your leader, the 3rd lead change of the night. Pacey Wygant and Tommy Reynolds now side by side, trying to figure out amongst themselves who's going to be number 2. The 35 Roberg thinks about stepping out and making it 3 wide. Not going to happen, though. Discretion, the better part of valor, as he will come back into the lane. So no challenges for Josh Susi. He will continue to lead as everyone tries to find the lane they want to be on to try to move up and win here at Michigan.
look right there. Caitlin Height almost kind of checked Smeal there, checked your bags at the door right there. But it's not Smeal. I should say it was actually the 44 Jeremy Braille. But right now up front, you can see Wygent trying to push the Meredith ahead here is now he's side by Reynolds. So close, so fighty here that it's almost kind of hard to check names here. Meredith going to clear on up. Now going to try to go back low to defend the lane. Reynolds getting swallowed up here. Got to be careful to get the car going forward.
The 17 now will be position number 2 as caution comes out for the second time tonight. And I believe that's going to be a caution for involving the 05, one of the 50, the 78. No, the 23 of Tommy Withers. He came down pit road last time. He has heavy smoke coming out of this car. His night's over.
Yeah, that is heavy damage right there. You'll see on the camera here, leaking up and having multiple damage. Hearing some drivers getting a little aggressive with the blocking further back. So I think we'll take a look at the replay when we can get one going. And here it is right here. And Withers gets loose. And obviously you can just see he goes low. And that point, it just becomes a track blocker. Good avoidance there by, I think that was William Britton. But you can see coming way hard on the inside wall and just nowhere to go. Reminiscence of Steve Park crash at Pocono or Gordon's crash at Atlanta. Heavy lick on that inside wall.
Heavy look on the inside wall for the 23. His night is effectively done, and it's gonna be tough to see to say exactly what caused this. The 11 machine of Casey Ellis was in that mix as well, and the 74 also of Connor Morse also involved in there. But it's hard to say if the 11 may have have a little netcode contact with the 74, or the 74 just got loose for the 11 being there. But either way, it ends only one way, with the 23 out of the race and the 74 and 11 inheriting some damage.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get one more look at this real fast. I think we'll try to pull. We'll pull up one more look here real fast, just so we maybe get a little bit better clear of an accent. Obviously, you can see right there some more of the chaos with Connor Morse. We'll back it up just a bit here. And you can see, we'll try to get a wide shot here. You can already see 4 wide. That is very chaotic already. And you can just see drivers fighting back here. There's a little contact with Ellis, and at that point, Morse goes in the wall, Withers go low, and the rest of the cars have to fan out. So that explains where Ellis and Morse got their damage, but obviously Withers got the biggest lick of them all in that incident. And you can see right there, Ellis down pit lane right now, getting the car fixed, along with Connor Morse and a few others. But this makes it so the drivers that are staying out, they should be comfortable to go here till the end of the stage. So no real penalty for staying out now. You got the fuel, and you probably got the tires. Now, though, with these later cautions, it plays in the drivers' hands that want to come in, that maybe they could stay out longer in the second stage. Knowing there's a pit stop looming for everyone, you can stay in, get the track position, and try to net gain. So that's why you saw a few drivers like Lilac Zier and William Britton come in to try to jump the gun.
So Josh Susie will continue to lead. This benefits him very well, as he'll be able to save a little bit of tire, a little bit of gas before we close out the first stage. It'll be Zachary Meredith in second, Pacey Wygent third, Tommy Reynolds fourth, and Martin Roberg rounding out your top 5. I had a feeling that we'd be talking about Joshua Susie and Pacey Wygent all night long. So far, that's been the case. But also, a lot of drivers I didn't expect to see up here. Zachary Meredith having a strong run. The 96 Tommy Reynolds in a good place. Martin Roberg also strong as well. And the 44, Jeremy Brault. He's been in a very strong form tonight.
Yeah, Jeremy Brault, remember, a driver that's gotten multiple second positions. Someone that is definitely strong at finding victory lane when needed be. And he's definitely someone that you can definitely count on to find good spots. You can see right up to the left here as well, cars escaping the pit lane, just beating out the pace car there before we go to a green flag. So as we get ready to go here, we'll restart on lap 20, have 11 laps to go before we see the conclusion of stage 1. It's going to be Sosi and Meredith, the 2 silver and chrome cars, making up row 1, with Wygent Reynolds row 2, Braille Roberg row 3, Mongold Height row 4, Trout and Smeal your first 5 rows. And the question is, I'll ask this to you, Joe, do you think the driver that's going to win the stage comes in those first 2 rows? Or do you think it's going to be someone a little bit further back, maybe sneaking their way in to basically cash in to find their way for a stage victory?
I think your stage winner will absolutely come from one of these first 2 rows. Again, these are drivers that have been strong all night. They've been able to show their pace early, and I think if they can stay clean amongst themselves, which is never a guarantee, but if they can stay clean amongst themselves, I think one of these 4 drivers has everything they need. They have the strength, they have the guile, and they certainly have the equipment tonight to stay up front and steal stage 1.
You know, just a little quick caveat here as well. Just realize Martin Roberg's scheme is not a Martini scheme. It's a Martin Roberg design scheme. Nice little play on words on using Martini's logo as a little parody there. Just notice that. So, hey, clever hat tip for that number 35 driver. But his pace car is going to get on ready to pull on off here. It is going to be on, I believe, Sosi's control here. So as we wait to enter the restart zone here, green flag will be out, and away we go. You can see that 00 trying to push that 17 here as he really struggled to get going through the gears.
17 may have spun tires, but not a great start nonetheless for the 17. Joshua Susie gets a big jump on the rest of the field. Tommy Reynolds will take advantage of Zachary Meredith's misfortune and is going to start to pull away in position number 2. The 00 is going to join him as well. So the 17 of Meredith not in a good place right now as he's going to get past for 2, maybe 3 positions before he can get back into the pace. Joshua Susie, though, he's got a nice long gap between everybody, and the more they fight amongst each other, the longer his gap will grow.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen Pacey Wadger really pinned on this high side here. Don't know if that's really a comfort zone. You can see he's trying to go low here. Willing to box out that 17 here to get back to his low side. Did not want to hang around. Wants to be on the attacking lane as he will now go to the low side here and try to clear out. Well clear at the moment, but it's all about sliding up here. I think he's poised to do so, so he will take second, not waiting out. Reynolds gets a little bit loosey-goosey there, but keeps it planted. But now you can see Meredith back on the attack, so just maybe a bit of a slow start for that 17.
Ducey continues to lead, but now Pacey Wygent immediately under fire from Tommy Reynolds in the 96. The 96 and 00 looking for everything they can out there as a 96 trying to hold off trouble on his rear end. What are we looking at? We're looking at Jeremy Brault, his teammate at Arrowhead, trying to give him the shove up and get around Pacey Wygent. Zachary Meredith still in that mix as well. Caitlin Height is now trying to get up to her teammate in position number 1, and the hits just keep on coming.
Yeah, it should be worth noting Braille and Reynolds, obviously teammates now at Arrowhead, were also teammates for half a season in the HTL Cup Series, so definitely know how to work together to put down competitive laps. And you got to work together, at least in these opening stages, to make sure no one is left behind here. Now Braille going to take his reward here and presumably come up and clear as he will get ahead here. But still top 2, you can see there, it is Sosi and Wygent, but Wygent really starting to attack here and maybe trying to make a move here in the next couple laps.
So Susie continues to lead. Stage ends on lap 40, correct?
30. So we're actually 8 laps away.
So 8 laps before we finish the stage, and Susie still continues to lead. Wygent, though, all over his back bumper. Wygent, I think, wants to take away this win from this stage win from him, and if so, that could be a big coup towards his efforts at the championship in just a couple of weeks' time. So Wygent now down low is going to put the loud pedal down. The 00 will slide past the 81, but who will have the lead at the start-finish line? It's going to be the 81. You're technically your leader, but for how long?
Yeah, right now that 00 is definitely someone that will take a no chance here. Will definitely try to make it into a chance. They'll be side by side, but he's got to be careful. The longer he runs on that low side, it allows Braille, Reynolds, those other cars behind to slowly reel him back in. So he has to kind of admit, hey, my goose is cooked. As you can see right there, side drafting aggressively to try to get a run on that 81, not going away like a bad rash. He will send it again, but that 81 up to the wise tricks. Going to keep his foot in it, at least for now, as Wygent and Sosi still side by side, but that high line prevails. And then you can see in that background, though, if something were to happen, Braille is ready to capitalize.
The 00 now coming towards the start-finish line. Will he be scored as your leader? Yes, Pacey Wygent on paper as your leader, giving another lead change. But will that stick? Can Pacey Wygent continue to hold off down on that low side? This track is known for being abrasive on tires. You know they're just grinding off rubber with every single lap that's going. As Pacey Wygent now forced to back into the pace where the draft with Josh Susie behind him. So I've got a feeling he's backed out there a little bit because he knows tires are at a premium. 3 wide now coming off turn number 4.
2 things. Pacey Wygent got loose off a 2 here. That's why he backed up. I don't think he wanted to give that time up for anything he could. Secondly, you saw Meredith try to wrecking ball his way through there. He was taking no prisoners. Like, I am sticking this, and you will be my brake. As they say, 8 wheels are better to 4 of the turns sometimes. And that has capitalized the Caitlin Heights percentage here, as she is now side by side with Braille. She is trying to move forward. Think Mongol hit the wall. Gaiman with a bit of a checkup there, as they are 3 wide, beginning to fan out. And we still see here Height getting some help from Meredith, as now Height's going to have to try to make that low line work.
Heights making the made that low line work all night long. She's worked her way from mid pack now into position number 4, hard charging her way through. Behind him, a hornet's nest starting to form, 3 wide, almost 4 wide around the 90 of Dean Clavette. And the 12 of Dustin Hall going back into the turn number 1 now. They're still going to be 3 wide around the 8, the 33, and I believe that's the 12.
Yeah, it's all smorgasbord back here. This is the last couple points. Remember, Roberg in that 35, that silver Martin Roberg kind of paint scheme. He is currently the last driver in on stage points right now, so he's got to be careful to hang on back towards Caitlin Height. She is still charging upwards here, but Braille really controlling the lanes here, making it all about him, blocking off that charge. And if we go up a little bit front as well, Wygant has re-caught Sosi, so feel like we'll see a move here as you can now see Sosi trying to break that toe as we now have 3 laps to go in the stage.
3 laps left in the stage. Sosi up front, Wygen second. Now it's going to be the 3 of Caitlin Height working her way up the field, getting around the 44 of Jeremy Brault. So score her position number 3 as they go 3 wide. The 12 and 96 look like they make a little contact. Not enough to upset the apple cart, but the 12, again, another one who's trying to work his way up through the field as like a wrecking ball, just figuring out where he can go, how he can make it happen. As we know, time is starting to run low in stage 1.
Yeah, time is beginning to click away here. Again, you do not want to be the one that tips the Jenga tower. You could easily be the one receiving a penalty. Sosi breaking the toe again. 2 laps to go, now officially in the stage. Pit lane is now officially closed, and no drivers could pit, even though if you did pit, you'd probably go 1 down, so you do not want to join the 1 down crew if you can. Look at that run the 3 just got. Almost had nowhere to take it, though. Almost ran into the back of the 00. Pretty single file here, which you don't really expect. With 2 laps to go, Hall almost gets into it, and even further back, you can see Roberg right there, 2-3 wide, but Selena Thompson, Austin Mongold, they're going to go around here as cars fan out, but we stay green more importantly.
No caution flag yet as they continue to run. We'll keep you back up front where all the action is going on. It will still be Susie up front with 1 to go at this time. It'll be facing Wygant second, Caitlin Height in third, Jerry Brault and Dean Clavette now rounding out your top 5. Going into turn 1, there Martin Roberg is now 3 wide with the 96 and the 17. The 17, big advantage on that one, so Zachary Meredith moves up a position, but the 96 and 35 still doing a little bit of business, making contact on the backstretch. This could end great or end poorly.
Yeah, they all got stage points here, so they got to make careful. Up front, you can see this is the battle for the stage win here. It's Sosi looks clean. Height wants a chance here to take something, and as they come off the last corner here, Sosi looks clear for the lead. He will take stage 1, but it's going to be a 4-wide finish for stage 2, and I think it is Wygant taking the flag here. And there goes the caution. Want to make sure we were correct. Wygant will get the score. Height third, Clavett fourth, Braille your top 5, with Hall, Meredith, Roberg, Reynolds, Pendel your top 10. But that number 81 took advantage of the opportunity, got towards the front after a slightly poor quality for at least his standards, and will win stage number 1, showing that maybe it wasn't the Hello Kitty scheme that provided the pace. It was really Joshua Sosi all along.
The race isn't over yet, so let's not go quite that far. We'll see exactly what happens, but again, Susie, Wygant, Caitlin Height, Dean Clavette was a bit of a surprise as he worked his way through the field, but able to do it very well. Jerry Brault, your top 5, quite a smorgasbord of drivers out there, but the cream rising to the top, Susie, Wygant, Height, these are the drivers who I think are going to be fighting all night long in order to get this win, which could be a very critical win, especially as we get ready to go into the playoffs.
There's the stage points right there. You can see as well. Take a look at something here. Looks like that was flashing back to live here. So a little bit of a button click there. As Sosi, Wygant, Height, Clavett, Braille, Hall, Meredith, Roberg, Reynolds, Pendel all get stage points. And for some of those drivers, like Christopher Pendel, for instance, currently outside, currently 24th in the standings, or Zachary Meredith, 7 back on the cut line. Those are definitely crucial points if you want to contend for a championship in 5 weeks and make it so it's a manageable distance when you head in Daytona at the cutoff race in about 5 weeks. But right now, we should be hitting pit stops here. And the question is, who will be, obviously, I assume the lead pack, most of the lead pack will be coming in. But I wonder if any of those drivers that came in at 17 may roll the dice and stay out.
Everyone and their mother should be coming to their pit crews this time by. It will be Susie leading them down, and everybody so far all coming to their attention to their crews, getting one of those 6 sets of tires and a full tank of virtual Sunoco racing fuel. And so far, I think it's going to be everybody. Yep, everybody coming to the attention of their crew. Everybody. But the 50 of Lilac Zier, she had a disconnect issue earlier in the race. She's back. She's going to stay out to try to get her lap back, I think. And if she's the only one that's out there, she may be able to get the lucky dog, actually.
Yeah, she's going to get one of her laps back. And for fact, she was also the only one down, I believe. You can see right there, one driver coming out of the box quickly. That's Caitlin Height. Looks like she may have took a fuel only stop, possibly missed her box. 5-second stop for her on my radar clock. So I think that may have been an element of strategy. But everyone else taking 4 tires and fuel to be Wygent, Brayout, Clavitt, Slosey's virtual crew really kind of screwed the pooch there. As you can see, the rest 3 wide coming off the race. But all eyes on that 3 machine, as she only took fuel only. That is Pacey Wygent. That is the 3 machine. And you can see right now, question is she going to have to come back down again, or was that part of the plan?
You're absolutely correct. I went back to look at that pit stop. She hit her marks perfectly. She stopped the car great, and she took gas only on that stop. So very, very interesting strategy for Caitlin Height. We know this track is going to be abrasive for tires. We know that it's going to be that it will chew up those rubbers underneath you and will not give you anything back in return. So I'm very curious to see how this works out for her and if she is able to have a competitive run on those older tires.
It will be intriguing to see. That's the very least. Looks like she's actually, yeah, she's coming back in again. So must have been a mistake too. So even though she did hit her marks, hit her box, maybe she didn't have the tires selected. So she's coming in, and that is a rare mistake for the number driver, the number 3. And now she is coming in. She's coming in to top off, because we know the stage ends at 70. So it's 40 laps. We'll go give or take a little less, because obviously a little extended distance, but that's still not comfortably in a fuel tank window, which is 26, 29 laps. So maybe being a little bit of a mental mind game for that number 3.
Very, very rare air for the 3 machine, who will come now and take those 4 tires on her car. She's going to have to make up all that momentum she gained now from the end of the field. So we will see what she's going to able to do in order to run strong and make this work here on the track. So very interesting. A lot of strategies at play here. But right now, the only one that matters is 00 Pacey Wygent, as he's going to be your leader.
Yep, is going to be Braille and Wygent. Braille also got a very good stop as well. They'll be row 1. Clavitt, Sosi, row 2. Meredith Roberg, row 3. Jones Reynolds, row 4. Pendel Sharp, your 5 rows here. And all eyes will be on Braille. We saw him holding down P3 quite well. We'll see what now he could do with this clean track and clean air.
So Pacey Wygent will restart on the high side, as everyone has chose to in every restart we've had so far. Jeremy Braille will be in second. Joshua Susi still in third. Dean Clavet, who's hoping to have a big race here at his de facto home track, will be fourth, and Zachary Meredith will round out your top 5. Pace car makes a hard left turn down pit road, and all eyes are on Pacey Wygent, as he will lead these guys to the green flag for the first time tonight. Through the Geico restart zone they go. Green flag flies. Wygent gets a great jump, and look who's on his back bumper already. It's 81 of Susie.
Oh, and look at that. We're going to wait for the whole lap, but you can see Pacey Wygent, though, wants to wait and go for the attack now. Sosi will clear up, so they will keep their battle going from lap 1. But you can see right there, battle for third, Clavitt and Braille. They will race it out, but first lap will be held by Sosi. So Sosi, even though maybe his virtual crew kind of let him down, he will take back where he left off and take the lead of this race back and lead that lap.
Josh Susie back on the lead. Pacey Wygent behind him. It's a battle for third. Braille low or high. Dean Clavet low. They will get all lined up and nowhere to go. They're just going to have to fight amongst themselves for position. Zachary Meredith in 5th. And the first battle for position is going to be around position number 7. Byron Jones low. Tommy Reynolds middle. Lily Sharp up high. And Martin Roberg, who had a great restart in the top 6, is going to drop all the way down to what looks like position number 10.
Yeah, that is a big fall there for Roberg. Has a strong car for a de facto pole sitter, and right now, though, needs to find his form and get forward as quick as he can. But you can see all drivers really just trying to move forward here, and maybe the calm for the storm. One driver really to note is Byron Jones there in that silver 19. Fastest Sector 2 on the track, so he's really finding this mid-race form here and wants to try to get towards the front and really flex it in that the Air Force-inspired war paint scheme there.
That Warbird machine. We'll call it the Warbird machine. He's trying to make it work. I'm also keeping an eye on the 3 machine of Caitlin Height. She will certainly score being positioned number 26, so she's got quite a ways to run before she can come back through the field, but she is slowly working her way through. She's picked up 1 position last lap. She's looking to pick up another position before we get out of turn number 2, and a lot of drivers in front of her want to stop her run because they know how strong she can be. But I've got a feeling we're going to be talking about her in another 10 laps.
Yeah, she is definitely a driver that wants to carve toward the front, but back up to the lead. Pacey Wygant wants that lead now. As you can see, going into 1, Wygant, Sosi side by side. We'll see if Wygant can finally get that move done and clear. Again, shades we may see in finale in about 12 weeks' time. Sosi will lead that lap, but Braille and Clavitt right there in the wings. Question is, will anyone get a little bit aggressive here? And you can see Braille going to push Sosi, wants to be in that second position here, and now will be Wygant and Sosi battling out. Car way up the road there. I think that was Swatsworth almost kissing the wall there in the wide shot, but everyone's still pointing in the right direction, at least for now.
So Wygant will continue to run second in front of Jerry Brault, who's giving now the 00 of Wygant a push. I think Brault's trying to do something to work his way up to the high end and get around force one of these 2 drivers down low so he can keep his momentum and keep driving out front and try to take this lead. Jerry Brault now hooked up with his teammate at Arrowhead, Tommy Reynolds. They're going to go side by side, and they're going to have the discussion amongst themselves. Who's leading, who's pushing, and how are we going to get around these 2 dominant drivers?
Well, I usually save those chats for Talladega and Daytona, but this is definitely where we'll see him right there. A little blink there for Byron Jones. Very sketchy when you see that around these tracks right now. As cars begin to fan out, looks like we've got a little bit of a calm reprieve here for the moment. Everyone's kind of made their beds and kind of lied in it right now. But one driver that wants that lead again, saw what Wygant did, wants it too. Dean Clavitt, the de facto home driver on the low side here. Wygant going to clear Reynolds in the far shot, but it's going to be side by side for the lead here as Reynolds trying to split the middle.
Reynolds trying to split the middle as best he can. No dice there. He will get behind the 00 of Wygant back up front. Clavitt challenging Susie for the lead. Clavitt doing everything he can in that number 90 machine to try to force Susie to make a move, an error. Not going to happen right now. It is a drag race down the backstretch. Who's going to have the advantage going into turn number 3?
Yeah, Sosi Clavitt side by side. Wygant will pick the lane he wants. We know he loves that low side, but he'd be kind of working with the enemy here. You don't want a car that likes running your low lane ahead of you in those regards, but you can see off the line, Clavitt looking to get clear here, and he will successfully do it. So you can hear the Canadian section of Michigan roar. He will lead that lap with Sosi and Wygant 2-3, and then you can see Arrowhead 4th, working together to try to stay in tow here.
Oh, Canada, Dean Clavitt stands on guard for you as he will continue to run up front and take the lead here at Michigan. Joshua Susie can do nothing but watch the number 90 Premier Racing Club driver take a run as we have 2 cars now going way out of their way. They're going to stay out. They're going to stay out of trouble, though. Alfred Denny and Chad Swatsworth got into a little bit of trouble there. No wrecks, so we stay green.
Yeah, saw that at the corner. I thought that was Wreck Central. That's why I piped up. But no, they keep it clean and keep it green. So only time loss for those 2 drivers. And we stay up in the line here. Back towards the front, you can see they didn't leave much of a battle here. As you can see right now, it's still game on as Jones is doing what Wygant did for a lot of those laps and be the pioneer of the low line.
Pioneer of the Pied Piper of the low line, if you will. Dean Clavitt continues to lead, but they're starting to get organized up and up on the high side. Joshua Susie, it says, all right, Wygant, you're not my friend right now, but I'll at least work with you to get around the 90. They get around him and immediately go back to fighting for the lead. So the 00, the 81, still fighting amongst themselves for the lead, leaving the door open for the Arrowhead drivers 3 wide going to the start-finish line.
Yeah, I think Clavitt got a little loose there off corner two. That allowed the door to open. Now see 3 wide for second, and Wydra was like, hey, I want to be the lead car on the inside. So 3 wide for third there with Clavitt, Wygen, and Brault. Reynolds kind of happy at the moment, but Clavitt using that low line to his advantage, charging on that low line will be side by side, and almost you could put a paperclip between Wygen and Brault. They keep it pointed all in the right direction. No one really giving an inch here, but right now Sosi kind of smiling that, hey, this is a fun battle, and I'm glad I'm leading.
But look behind him. Look, the 96 of Tommy Reynolds still in that mix right there. The 96 still doing everything he can to let everyone know, hey, I'm still here. I'm not going away. And I'm going to try to walk away a winner here if everything works out. All over the back bumper of the 81. And I believe it's a 00 now. Help giving him no, that's going to be his teammate, actually, the 44 Brault. So now very interesting as you have 2 Arrowhead drivers working nose to tail, the rest of the team scattered throughout the field, but the 2 Arrowhead drivers, if they get together and they figure out a way to get around the 81, they could easily make some noise.
Yeah, we'll take a look on board here, watching with Dean Clavitt right here on the low side, and you can just see where that pivot is working as he's really pinching that low lane. It's why it's worked for Jones. It's why it's worked for Wygen. The problem is you kind of burn up your stuff a little bit low, and in turn you have to be willing to just slide job it. You can see right there side by side with Wygen, as Wygen is going to get the run off here, but now Clavitt is going to send it low again, really get that extra throttle, and then try to slide up. But up front, Reynolds saying, hey, that is working out for those cars. I want the lead, and he's going to try to get side by side with Sosi, but not going to have enough. He'll slot back in for second.
Dean Clavitt on the low side. Oh, we got some trouble now. We got a little bit of trouble around Peltier Sharp. Looks like Martin Roberg, and maybe looks like the 9, Eli Sasek had a little bit of trouble back there. They keep it going the right way, but they definitely are not going to make friends with the driver of that 71 machine. So score them back there as Dean Clavitt also loses a lot of position on the low line, unable to hang down there with everybody. So he will drop from second, third, all the way back to about 6th, 7th right now. Joshua Susie continues to lead Tommy Reynolds, Jerry Brault playing a defensive stance in 2 and 3, and now Byron Jones challenging Pacey Wygen for position 4.
Yeah, that's the risk-reward situation you could be in on that low side, is if it goes wrong or it kicks out, you will lose a ton of spots like Dean Clavitt is right now, and he'll have to regroup it and get it all back towards the front. Up front, though, it is still Sosi, Reynolds, Braille. A name I'm keeping an eye on, DJ Trout right now. Mr. Trout right now currently in side-by-side with Clavitt of 15 spots, as he is slowly pushing forwards the front as well. This top 10 is a very interesting smorgasbord of drivers that have gained a ton of spots, like Jones, Braille, Clavitt, Pendel, all in this top 10. They are 4 wide almost for 4th position.
4 wide almost for 4th position. That could have ended in calamity, but they continue to run straight nonetheless. The biggest battle right now is for position number 3 between Braille and the 19 of Byron Jones. Behind them, 3 wide for position. It continues to be Dean Clavitt low, Pacey Wygen in the middle, and DJ Trout now trying to force his way into the mix.
Yeah, DJ Trout trying to capitalize here. Got that feeling after what may have happened, what slipped through the fingertips at Suzuka East last week, saying, hey, I know I can win, I can do it, whether it's an oval or road course, and he wants to capitalize in that Storm Chasers machine. Right there, you can see it's pretty much smorgasbord right now as drivers fan out Robert, Pendel, and Sharp side by side for what would be the last couple spots in the top 10 of the stage. And remember, though, a green flag pit stop looms for this field here, as all cars will have to at least make 1 stop before the end of this stage, unless they decide to save and try to find a magical number, which you know some drivers like William Britton, Kevin Gibney, Zachary Apperson would definitely be willing to try. But right there, you see another driver ready to challenge the throne of Sosi, Byron Jones. He's on that low side right now, trying to get back to the lead.
Trying to get back to the lead, but not if the 96 can help it. The 96 keeps giving the 81 a push up front, trying to keep Susie in the lead. Now the 19 gets as close as he ever has to taking away that lead. So Byron Jones doing everything he can, now breaking up the 96 and the 81, now almost making contact with the 81. Side by side, they dive it in. Will Byron Jones finally get the lead? Yes, we may have a new leader at the start-finish line.
Yeah, Byron Jones showed that, hey, if you come at the king, you best not miss. Well, Byron Jones just proved it. He will lead that lap healthily. Now Reynolds like, all right, if he can do it, I can do it too. And it'll be him and Braille working together here to try to upset that Nitro Gordon-inspired scheme as they will be side by side for second. And you can see some familiar faces there in the far shot. Here on lap 51, Trout just clipped the wall just a bit. Going to cause a checkup. Sharp and a few others having to avoid quickly there, but everyone still got it pointing in the right direction.
Byron Jones getting a big head of steam now as Susie and Reynolds fought for position number 2. Now 3 wide for position number 3. Reynolds high, Wygent in the middle, and it's going to be Bray out low. Scoring it back down to 2. But again, the more infighting they have, the better it is for Jones as they're not able to get organized and start making a run to position 1 or position 2 for that matter. 2 by 2 they go again for positions 3 and 5.
Yeah, battle wide there. Hunter Peach, name we haven't said much about here tonight. He is currently inside the top 10, splitting the difference there between Trout. You can see Dean Clevitt maybe said, all right, that low side is no longer working. He's going to drift up high to try to make provisional attack here as we see battle raging on throughout the field. And this is only going to get more and more aggressive as these drivers get closer and closer to the end of the stage, and what could also be what we may see for the end of this race. 3 wide, almost 4 wide there as Braille almost side by side with Peach, Reynolds, Trout, and Clavitt all under a blanket in what is basically 4th to 7th.
Number 20 in the middle of a 3 wide sandwich right now. Hunter Peach fighting off Dean Clevitt high, and he almost gets into the number of 96 in front of him. Great run. They almost make contact through turn number 2, and that is going to send some calamity through the field once again. All these drivers jockeying for position, all these drivers with good runs, not know what to do with them. They are doing everything they can to make sure the fight remains entertaining. Battles for position about 4 onward as your top 3 starting to break away. Byron Jones, Pacey Wygent, and Josh Susie.
As infighting is playing factors for Sosi, Wygent, and Jones, as this is giving them the opportunity to really open up their gap. As you can see in the far shot here, there you can see the top 3. Few cars on pit lane, not 100% who they are, but they will now escape the pit lane. But you can see that gap beginning to grow and grow quickly. One driver you said to keep an eye on, Joe, has already made their way back into the top 10. Caitlin Height right there sitting in 9th. She has gone up about 20 spots from where she started stage number 2, and she is just ready to prowl and be on that attack.
The 2 drivers coming off pit road were Austin Mongold and Kevin Gibney Jr. They're the first ones to come down pit road. Now Alfred Denny is signaling he wants to come in for his green flag pit stop. So far, your leaders, none of them signaling that they're going to be next. So Byron Jones continues to lead. Wygent, Susie, Hunter Peach, your top 4, and behind them a whole hornet's nest of drivers fighting amongst themselves to try to catch up front. Dean Clevitt in 5th right now, but he's under fire immediately from Caitlin Height and Tommy Reynolds, who's still running with teammate Jeremy Braille.
Yeah, right now it's calm. Even look at the clouds right there. They see what's kind of on the horizon here. Maybe some ominous storm clouds in the distance as these cars are just taking no prisoner here. But this is what the fun of HTL is all about, watching these battles play out and rage on. As we see this battle for 5th and 6th still between Reynolds and Height. Keep an eye up towards the front here in a second. Wygent has caught Jones, but now you can see Braille working with Reynolds to try to get around that 3.
Byron Jones continues to lead. The Zachary Meredith, the latest driver to announce he's coming down pit road. So he came down pit road this time by Jones, Wygent, Susie Peach, and Dean Clevitt now getting a big run away from the rest of the pack. Caitlin Height now in position number 6, getting past Tommy Reynolds. And then behind them, 3 wide again around Martin Roberg, DJ Trout, and Austin Mongold, who's currently a lap down, not fighting for position. Trout's going to go, it's going to be Roberg that's going to go down low once again, fighting around Pellier Sharp, and I believe Jerry Braille.
Ooh, Byron Jones in the pit lane here. He is coming in along. He's actually coming in alone. So that a race leader will come in the lead, give up the lead here to come in for service. So he is going for the undercut here. You can also see Zachary Meredith came in a couple laps ago. He is now on that access road and will try to blend out. Will also join the 1-down crew as he will come back up, but at least have a good chance to race his way back up the lead lap. Dean Clevitt, though, gets a little loose, hits the wall, and that's going to check him up and allow that 3 and 17 to zoom on by. So Clevitt really struggling with a loose car. Would not be shocked if he comes in the next few laps to get some fresh tires on that number 90.
Pacey Wygant looking like he wants to come down this time by. No, it will not be Pacey Wygant, but another leader is going to come down this time by. I believe that's Sosi. Yes, it is. The 81 will come down this time by. He'll be joined by the 93 of Trout, the 8 of David Smeal. So that little pack is going to come in. They say 1 is the loneliest number you've ever heard of. Well, a big track like this, if you don't have drafting partners, 1 will be the number that could effectively kill you. Byron Jones comes out back on the track, but with unable to get in front of the leaders, he will be currently scored 1 lap down. So Pacey Wygant, your leader. Hunter Peach now in second. It will be Caitlin Height scored in position number 3. And will this be the lap that Pacey Wygant says, all right, I'm going to go. I'm going to get him set up? Nope. But Caitlin Height will. She's going to come down pit road as well as some of those Arrowhead drivers.
Yeah, she really made advantage of that opportunity. That mistake did not hold her down. She carved her way back up to the top 5 and is looking poised to make advantage and take gains here. Reynolds, Braille, Sharp will be a few of those other names coming into the box as we speak, as I see the 3 hit her line right now. Back up front, though, Jones, the 91 of Mongold, and I believe that one of the cars, Zachary Meredith, all make it around the leader here. So at the moment, look poised. We'll have to keep an eye where Height and the rest of the cars blend out in retrospect to those 3. But keep the note on the board here, and we'll see exactly how that race plays off, as right now the leaders still have yet not to pit, as we see Wygant and Peach be 2x2. Cars in the back, though, a little bit squirrely. I think it was Swad Swashworth that just mowed the grass, but he does not wreck. Maybe a bit of a checkout trying to come into pit lane.
That was an aborted pit stop for Shad Swatsworth. He wanted to come down pit road that time by, but he just came in too fast, was forced to abort it, and he's now going to have to circle around one more time before he can come to the attention of his crew. Pacey Wygant on the strategy of making it, or burning it as far down as he can before he will bring it down pit road. Hunter Beach in second. Dean Clavette still remains in position number 3. So lots of no big shakeups yet. Everyone's waiting for Pacey Wygant to make the hard left turn down pit road, but I don't think he's going to until the gas tank reads E.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going long, but I think that could be to his detriment here. He's obviously got that win along with Peach. They don't have to worry. But this is Caitlin Height right now. She blended way ahead. We saw Jones and we saw Zachary Meredith come in and have to basically fight for their way back up. But this is a de facto 1-2, presumably when this pit stop cycles through. Both Sosi and Height working together again to do this right, taking fuel only and 2 tires for their respective stops. Then you got Sharp, Reynolds, and a few others in a second pack here, still ahead of the leader, which would be de facto second pack here. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out when pit stops occur. As you can see right now, Reynolds and Sharp fighting for what will be de facto P3, as Dean Clavitt and Pendel both hit the pit lane here.
Pacey Wygant now getting into some lap traffic. DJ Trout, Kevin Gibney, all about to go 1 lap down when the 00 passes them. The 99 of Elias Flores also in that mix. Only 25 cars right now on the lead lap, and that number will continue to go lower or to grow as Pacey Wygant and Hunter Peach continue to grow as long as they can. The 20 right now taking the lead, but I don't know if he'll be able to keep it. Going through turns 3 and 4. Peach has the advantage, which means Wygant could be coming down pit road this time by.
Looks like he is. We'll go far shot. You can see right now he is officially in. So Hunter Peach stays out, and this infighting is not helping. Chad Swatsworth will be in as well. And you can see right now cars blending out, but we'll take where the de facto race leader, presumably when they cycle out, will be the 3 at Caitlin Height. And we'll focus on her and Sosi right now, as we'll see where they come out in regard to Pacey Wygant on the track. And remember, the stage ending in about 7-8 laps. Remember, ends at lap 70. It'll be interesting to see as maybe it'll be fuel only for the 00, maybe 2 tires. We'll have to only see how it plays out. But right now, at the moment, Peach still leads the way, but we're focusing on this 3 to see if she takes the de facto lead when it's all said and done.
Hunter Peach will be coming in this time by. Josh Arnold, who's currently running in third, says he's going to come down this time by as well. Martin Roberg will join him as well. Yep, Peach, Roberg, and Arnold all coming down the attention of their crews. Matthew Boone will do the same. Blake Henderson the same. So we are just basically cycling through at this time. Everyone is coming to the attention of their crew at some way, shape, and form. So now it should cycle back to the 3 as a caution flag comes out.
Caution is out here. That is going to be not what the 3 and 81 want to see. We'll see if we can find out who it was. Maybe not Gary Donaldson. I'm going to check the name box here. If you see it, Joe, let me know. But it's going to be definitely interesting how this plays out in regards. Dustin Hall looks okay. Not seeing any notables. Cindy Thompson looks fine. She's got a little crinkled front end, though, so maybe it was related with her.
Possibly, we're still looking to see what exactly happened. Oh, I see it now. I see it now. It happened. Or let me get a better view of this real quick. It involved the one of Kevin Gibney Jr. and the 99 or the 99 of Elias Flores.
All right, we'll see if we can get that pulled up in a second here. We have to use the power of video editing here to figure this out. Here's Elias Flores on replay. We'll kind of play it out here. Said it was Flores and Gibney. This is obviously a little bit further up. So we'll go kind of figure this out here. This goes Flores. We'll rewind forward here. If anything happens, and I think right now we're under caution per se. Car kicking out here. Yeah, no, then we're under caution, so it's not Flores. Gibney? Gibney, okay, we'll rewind here just a bit. That front end already looks crinkled. So rewinding back here, see what exactly caused that front end to kind of kick in. All right. On the backstretch. Oh, there's the spin in question. So we'll play it right here. We figured out what exactly happened. So keep an eye on Gibney. Comes up, tries to clear, gets connected with Flores. That spins Gibney around. That tears the front end off.
Yep, the 99 and 1 just made contact, or the 99 looks like he might have tried to save it from the wall coming off of turn number 2, clips the 1 machine, and they will both go the 1 will go nose first into the wall. The 99 will get some heavy damage on the right side, and that's what's going to bring the caution flag out, and that could effectively ruin Kevin Gibney's junior night.
Yeah, that damage looks very heavy indeed. You can see him right now on pit lane. Long clock indeed in that London Dry Gin machine, Tanqueray, if I'm not mistaken. And that it doesn't look horrible. Tanqueray. Thank you, Joe, for getting the pronunciation right there. But yeah, it looks bad, doesn't look good, but it's gonna have to be fixable. At the very least, he wants to keep running. But this has been a neutralizer for Height and Sosi. They worked together, got front up, and had a comfortable gap for the stage 2 to be a fight between themselves. And now you just kick the hornet's nest, and you got a Josh Arnold, you got a Johnny Reynolds, a Jeremy Braille, all behind, ready to strike and ready to really pounce to make this stage a fight to the end.
But here's what's interesting, though. Nobody was truly affected by that yellow flag. Everyone had cycled through on pit stops. Nobody was really stuck on pit road. The people who came down that time by, they were going to be at the end of the line anyways. So nobody really got destroyed by that yellow flag coming out. It was serendipitous timing, I would say, that we saw the caution flag come out, but that does mean you've got a lot more competition for the win in stage number 2. Pace car lights are off, so when we go green flag racing in one more lap, Caitlin Height will start up high in position number 1, as every leader has chosen to do. Joshua Susi will be down low. Josh Arnold, Tommy Reynolds will be in row 2, and it'll be Jeremy Braille and Joshua Gaiman in row 3. Where's 00, you ask? Well, 00 Pacey Weichen's at the back end of the top 10 right now, but a lot of talented drivers in front of him. I know that's not where he wanted to be on laps when we go back to racing on lap 67.
Yeah, Weichen, obviously that overcut did not work a treat for him, but at least he can keep that in the back of his mind for the final stage, that running it long is not ideal at a track like this. Obviously, if the other drivers took 4 tires like Sharp and Alfred Denny, who could maybe risk it and stay at the end of the stage, then maybe try to get a little bit of a benefactor for the final stage here. But it's going to be a fight between the 2 teammates at Lady Liberty, but I know they're going to work together to the very least ensure it's a fight between themselves for stage glory here.
Stage glory and points are going to also be on the line right now. So lots of things to keep in mind here as we get ready to go green flag racing. Only around 2 more turns we go, and the pace car will make the hard left turn down pit road. Caitlin Height will lead them. Joshua Susi will be on the outside row, but all eyes and all attention will be on Height, as she will have command of the field once they enter the Geico restart zone. Through the zone they go, this time by Caitlin Height in the Ferrari machine. Will she get a good start? She does. Green flag flies. Yes, we are officially under green flag racing as Height gets a big jump over Josh Susi, Tommy Reynolds, and Josh Gaiman now in the mix.
Reynolds trying to split the difference here, make it a fight between him and Caitlin Height, but Sosi obviously not going to really undeterred here, as they'll be side by side for second, coming off corner 2 here. See the rest of the cars begin to fan in and fan out here. Josh Gaiman, a name we haven't said much about here tonight as well, currently sitting in the top 5, a driver that loves using those strategies to get himself up late. Right now, still sitting in fourth position. Look at that, 5 wide almost back there as Wygant is ready, and he wants to be back to the challenge for the stage win here.
Wygant is leaving it all on the track. It'll be checkers or wreckers for the 00 as Caitlin Height continues to lead. The 00 now beside the 44 as we continue to go racing here. Top four starting to break away from the rest of the field. Caitlin Height leading Josh Susie, Tommy Reynolds, and Joshua Gaiman. Next battle between the 00 and the 44 for position.
Yeah, they are all fighting hard here. Stage points mean the most for some of them. They need these points. They got to be sure to get as much as they can. Caitlin Height, though, still leading the way. It's Height, Sosi, Reynolds, Gaiman, and you can see the race on for the last couple spots in the stage. Remember, top 10 get stage points. Right now, that is Blake Henderson, but you can see a Denny, a Constantinu, and a Swatsworth all behind, ready to try to capitalize and get some stage points themselves.
Pit road is closed. 2 more laps before we go close stage number 2, and Caitlin Height's in a great position to close it as their leader. Josh Susie, Tommy Reynolds, Joshua Gaiman, Pacey Wygant, all running in line at this point. Jerry Braille, nowhere to go. Lily Sharp, nowhere to go. Zachary Meredith, nowhere to go. First battle right now is between Alfred Denny, Zachary Meredith, and I believe that's going to be that white machine of, no, it's going to be Alfred Denny in that mix as well. Blake Henderson in that group as well. So far, nobody wants to be the first one to poke their car out out of the draft. One to go at the start-finish line.
Yeah, right there. That's for the last stage points here. Right now, Jones has got the last spot, but you got a Constantinu, a Swatsworth, a Trout, all ready to find runs here. Up front, it is still the Caitlin Height show. Callie is on the sidelines. It's the Caitlin Height show with Sosi in second. As you can see, also a little bit up there, Gaiman trying to find a way in here to try to get a top 5.
So Caitlin Height only has to defend for 2 more turns, and she will be your stage 2 winner. Joshua Susie gonna let his teammate figure it out and take the win for himself. Behind them, continue jockey for position. White Reynolds side by side, and it looks like behind them it's gonna be another Gaiman in the mix as well. Caution comes out. Stage 2 is over, and it belongs to Caitlin Height.
I don't think Pacey Wygant's going to be too thrilled that he got doored for 4th place in the stage there. As you saw Reynolds come down, whether it was Reynolds coming down or Pacey Wygant going up, who knows? Not going to draw sides, but Reynolds, pretty much they were fighting hard there for the last bit of stage points with 2 winners this season. But a winner as well, as found her way to victory lane, has also won the stage. Caitlin Height will take the 2nd stage, so Lady Liberty will sweep the 2 stages here. And it will be looking to be the final stage as well. One of them will try to find their way to victory lane, but with well over, give or take 70 laps waiting these drivers, still anyone's race to find victory lane.
Still very much anybody's race, but Lady Liberty in a really strong place to try to take away this win. Height after winning 2, Susie winning 1, but don't stop discount some of the other drivers we've seen great runs from. Tommy Reynolds, Joshua Gaiman making his way up in the mix. Pacey Wygant has been strong all night long. Jeremy Braille as well. So some of these teams really came prepared tonight to put up one heck of a fight. You see it in Lady Liberty. You see it in Arrowhead. Lots of drivers really fighting as hard as they can to make their way up. And I've got a feeling, this is going to make these last 40 so laps very entertaining.
Yeah, no, if it's anything like the first 2 stages, it's going to be a fun one. The drivers are going to fight tooth and nail. As long as they can keep it on that line of fun but not chaotic, I think it'll be definitely a watch to see. Now pit lane officially open, assuming it's going to be a crowded place here, as almost everyone is going to come on in. A few little lockups almost there in the back there. It's luckily no one got into each other. You can all see that car going around the high side. I think that is Lilac Zier. She is not. We'll see who it is in a second. I think it's Selena Thompson actually getting her lucky dog back here. Pit load, everyone on in here, as we're going to see who can win their virtual cruise to race off pit lane. Caitlin Height hoping for not another Ferrari strategy blunder there to try to come out in first position in pit lane again.
Although that definitely matches with the car livery. She will hit their marks perfectly, and it will be a 4-tire stop for her. Looking up and down the field, 96 Ty Reynolds overshoots his stall, so that's going to be a little bit of a blunder, but it will also be 4 tires for him. Martin Roberg in the mix as well. Connor Moore still on track. Look for much of the same. 4 tires, full tank of fuel, and the first one off pit road will be the 20 of Hunter Peach. Martin Roberg, I think, only took 2 tires there. No, he took fuel only, so that might have been a gaffe on his part. Caitlin Height, after 4 tires, will come out position number 3.
Well, we do got to remember some of the drivers that came in late in that stage, like Peach, like Rober, took 4 tires on their machine. So maybe in a sense of strategy, just trying to say, hey, I think I got fresh enough tires that I do not need to really worry, per se, about the effect of this. So it's not definitely much enough. Let's get the track position and try to make something work here. So Hunter, Peach, and Roberg will be the front two. You can also see Dustin Hall and Seth Wanzing going to take the wave around here when we do get it with 1 to go here. And I believe that will put both of them back on the lead lap and give them a fighting chance to try to win this race.
Dustin Hall, if he takes a wave around, will be on the lead lap. Seth Wansing is currently 3 laps down, and Selena Thompson did get the lucky dog that time by. So when we go back to Green Flag Racing, 34 cars will be on the lead lap. Seth Wansing, Lennox here, who had a disconnection issue earlier, they will be both down at least 3 laps. William Britton, DeMonte Dotson, Tommy Withers, I believe 2 of those 3 have retired for the night.
Yeah, I think you are correct. Checking the time of scoring, neither of those 3 cars are taking laps, and all damage clocks seem to be off. So Britton, Dotson, and Withers all behind the wall here. We saw the heavy lick for Withers. Dotson and Britton, not maybe as much damage, but maybe had some technical difficulties. Who knows? They are now in the Shadow Realm as well. I think we just got 1 to go. We'll check the lights here. Nope, we still got Wanzing here. So actually, we do have 1 to go. The lights are on the pace car, but Wanzing did not get waved around.
Interesting that Wansing did not get waved around. I'm being told that he had some black flag issues taken care of, so I think he's not going to get the wave around. Instead, he's just going to fall back to the tail end of the longest line. So Wansing, hoping to get a lap back, not going to happen this time around. Back up front when we restart, it will be Hunter Peach, your leader. He's going to elect to start down low. He'll be the first leader who elects to start on the low line. Martin Roberg in second, Caitlin Height, Josh Susie, Josh Gaiman, your top 5.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting run. Obviously, Peach and Rober are going to be kind of the Pied Pipers, showing that, hey, can 2 tires work? Can 4 tires work? What's the strategy when we have to take our final green flag pit stop in about, give or take, 30 laps here? Information you can use, and also these drivers are going to note the connection Sosi and Height have, and they're going to want to break that up ASAP. Pace car going to get on ready here and take the lonesome trip down pit lane. Like you were saying, Joe, it is going to be on Hunter Peach's control here. So as they get ready to enter the Geico restart zone, green flag is now officially in the air, and away we go for the final stage. Good launch by Peach. Roberg spun the tires a bit, going to be under pressure from a Lady Liberty machine behind.
So Hunter Peach now under fire with nobody to help him out. The number 20 is going to be on an island by himself. And let's see what exactly happens as the 35 of Roberg may come to his aid or may come to hinder him. We'll see what kind of run he has. Caitlin Height and Joshua Susie, the Lady Liberty teammates, now going to try to run a blockade on everyone behind them. They know they've got the cars to win. The problem is, does everybody else going to yield to that fact?
Yeah, look at that. Saw 3 wide on that backstretch here. You don't usually see that often. Henderson, Trout, Sharp, and look at Jones trying to push Henderson clear there, but he ends up kind of sinking, so just trying to find a lane and find a way quickly around here, as this is the battle outside the top 10 right now at the moment. As we zoom up back towards the front, you can see Peach is holding strong here. It's pretty much single file at the moment, but I don't expect that to last for long.
Not for much longer, but we'll see how long he can hold out as him and Roberg start to get a bit of a gap on the rest of the field. That won't last, though, as they continue to run single file. Caitlin Height now catches up in the back bumper of the 35. That could challenge for the lead. Joshua Susie not in a hurry to catch up. Instead, he's trying to blow a spoiler to Gaiman and Reynolds.
Yeah, look at Martin Roberg wants the lead here. Not going to really get the charge he needs. Still side by side, heading off into 1 here. Like you were talking about a little bit further back, you can see David Smeal trying to take that low side. But Roberg and Peach, side by side. Can Roberg get clear here off corner exit? He almost can. Oh, had to basically almost force his way. Still side by side, though, so couldn't get the job done. Luckily did not clear himself off the nose, as they'll be side by side heading off into 3.
So Hunter Peach under fire from Martin Roberg. Roberg still wants the lead, but he's not going to be able to clear him off of turn number 4. They will go side by side. That should give the advantage to Peach. It does. So Peach will lead at least one more lap. But will that be his last lap he leads? Martin Roberg gets back into line. Caitlin Height debates whether she wants to go down low. She's going to try it. Try to get out of the draft a little bit. See if she can catch up to the 35 of Roberg. Not going to do it this time by. So Height, Susie, Gaiman will continue to lead. Single file, all about to position number 13.
Yeah, it's weird because once you get to here at single file, then you get the Byron Jones back here, and that's the wrong button. But when we get to the right button, you can see right now it is basically 2, 3 wide as no one wants to give a lift. It's almost 4 wide back there for 15th to 20th. These drivers are really not taking any prisoners. They know they got to get to the front here. They got to make moves to get towards it, or else they'll be left in the dust. And up front, though, Hunter Peach and Roberg side by side again. Roberg wants to get to the front, tried to aggressively side draft that 20, and Roberg looking to try to clear here. Just can get it done. He will successfully do it. So put Roberg now up to the lead. Patience pays off for the 35 as he is now your race leader.
42 laps left to go and still plenty of racing, plenty of raciness in all of these cars. Roberg, your leader, he will officially take the lead next time by when we get to the start finish line. Peach nowhere to go. He'll sit in second. Height and Susie third and fourth. It'll be Tommy Reynolds now in fifth. Joshua Gaiman sixth. And Jerry Braille not able to catch up to his teammate up there as now Hunter Peach is getting a little bit of help from the 81.
Yeah, Lady Liberty working together there. Sosie pushing Height clear here to make it so they can fight it out between Peach. Overwhelming. Basically, divide and conquer, if you will. Keeping that pizza and wings machine on that high side. And you can see Sosie right now trying to get third away from Hunter Peach, but Peach holding nerve. And while they fight, Height wants that lead as well. Then you go see in the far shot, Gaiman and Reynolds trying to battle out for a top 5.
Martin Roberg now in the lead, but look who's worked up to position number 2. Caitlin Height is now in position number 2. Hunter Peach trying to fight off Josh Susie, and you saw Peach give Susie give Peach a push, but I think that was just to get him out of position so he could connect once again with his Lady Liberty teammate. Now the 20 trying to break up that tandem, see if he can stop them from working together, and so far so good as the 81's left to hit the high and dry. Will the 3 come to his aid?
Yeah, we'll have to see here. Again, going low, though, for the race lead. The 3 and 81 going to lock up that bottom side. Ferrari wants the lead back. Can Caitlin do so? Not going to be able to really get clear here. It's going to be a drag right down the straight. But now the question is, who can really get that toe off? 81 going to be in the corner for the 3. The 20 is going to be in the corner for the 35. And it looks like Roberg and Height will still be side by side, heading off into the next corner. It's going to be a race. And look at Hunter Peach trying to run the high side. That could be the detrimental to Roberg.
The number 3 now running side by side. Roberg trying to fight her off. Caitlin Height nowhere to go. She's going to continue to fight for position number 1. Going low into turns 3 and 4. The 81 and 33 down there. So the Lady Liberty of Alfrea Motorsports block. Throwing the block for the 3. And we will have a new leader this time around. Caitlin Height once again back in position number 1. And she's got a lot of help behind her.
Yeah, right now, though, Sosie got his hands full with Hunter Peach. And then you're going to see Gaiman Reynolds. They've been swapping spots as well. But one reprieve maybe for Reynolds. You can see that next car in train. That is Jeremy Braille in the 44. 2 Arrowhead cars looking to link to get towards the front here to maybe help in that fight against Lady Liberty. But up front, it is still Caitlin Height charging away here and really pushing forward as Peach and Sosie. And look at that. Roberg's now falling to the clutches. And it could be a 2-for-1 special for Joshua Sosie.
It could be, but see what Hunter Peach wants to do. He thought about making it 3 wide. Now they are going to go 3 wide with a 96 down low. So Caitlin Height now watching calamity unfold behind her. And the 96 of Reynolds makes a big move, and that should move up to position number 2 in front of Roberg.
Yeah, right now Reynolds took advantage of the opportunity, took that slipstream, and he will reap the rewards. So put Reynolds up to second and Roberg down the third as cars fan out position. But Caitlin Height beginning to pull away. 3/10 gap now to Tommy Reynolds. But you cannot really get a full gap here and make it comfortably. You have to have someone in your toe if you want to truly break away. So Caitlin is going to have to maybe hope maybe Sosie can catch up to her and really charge to the front, or else she's just going to, I guess, have that little gaggle but never truly be far enough away to make something happen. Like a yo-yo, if you will, on a string.
I don't think so. I think Caitlin Heights definitely got a lot of momentum right now. She's got a lot of help. It's just she's got to manage this race very well. Plus, we will have one more pit stop somewhere during this final stage, whether it be under green flag or whether it be under yellow. We will still have to go one more time, and the caution comes out.
Caution is out indeed. We'll check a little bit further back. It looks like it was, at the very
At
least,
50.
50 machine, a Lilac Zier. She is way low on the inside line here, and she looks pretty torn up on the front end. Usually you don't go to the inside line alone for the most part. Usually is a point of incident. So we'll take a look here and see if she got any help or if she was on alone here. So we'll get a good angle here, and we'll see exactly what happened. Looks like she was running in the back with Flores. And overall, oh, she got on the corner panel Arnold, and that spun her around, and just nothing she could do. Obviously, a bad day goes worse, but luckily, she didn't hit the inside wall, and she just keeps it fired with little damage.
Yeah, taking a look at that incident, it looks like it was just a little bit of bad timing. She got boxed in by those two cars, by the 91, by the 90 or the floor by Elias Flores and the two of Arnold, and being boxed in between those two cars, nowhere for her to go. So that was definitely just bad timing. Nothing that anybody did, nothing nefarious. It was just a bad timing on everybody's part, and unfortunately, the Lilac Zier will be the unfortunate party to all of that. So definitely not a great night for her at all. After some disconnection issues, after some other issues, she will be even further back through the field as pit stops now happening.
It's interesting because we're at lap 87, 97, 107, 117 in the theory is where you can hit your mark. It's still probably not good enough to get to the end of the race here, pitting this early. So we'll have to see what's in store for these drivers. 3 cars electing to stay out. Tommy Reynolds, Jeremy Braille, and Eli Sasick all staying out here. So 2 Arrowhead cars and 1 8-Cent Racing. Now the question is who will win this race off the pit lane for de facto P4. It looks like it's going to be the 3 machine of Caitlin Height with Josh Ososi in tow. All cars taking 4 tires and fuel here, not taking a risk, not taking 2 tires, nay, staying out. Well, not some stayed out, but not taking just fuel only, I should say. So it's Reynolds, Braille, Sasick, Height, Sosi going to be your top 5 when we see the green flag in a couple laps. But presumably, all cars still got at least one more pit stop on the horizon if we don't get another caution before maybe lap 95.
And see, that's exactly what I was about to say there. I bet you a lot of these drivers are betting on another caution. I'd even bet that your current leaders right now, Tommy Reynolds and Jeremy Brault, they got on the radio together and said, hey, why don't we stay out? Because if there's another caution, everyone may come back down pit road to use their last set of tires out here. If they do, then we're going to be in a great position to take advantage of this. I've got a feeling that they are trying to play the long game and try to ultimately work their way up at the top and stay at the top. We'll see if that actually happens. So I've got a feeling that might be what takes place.
Yeah, honestly, I don't hate the call here because, again, you know you can't make it to the end. You know if you come in, you're still not going to make it to the end. So why not just say, hey, I got the track position. The tires should be good enough for at the very least. And if I come in a bit early, we saw how powerful that undercut was. And we saw Sosi and Height work together with that undercut and charge up and get about a 2-3 second gap. So, hey, if we can get together, work together, undercut, then team up on our outlaps to get a big gap and make it insurmountable, why not try to make that work? So I think that's a good call by Arrowhead. The question is, will it stay green enough for this to work out in their favor? Because if there's a late caution or there's a caution between that undercut, they could really go from having the best strategy to the worst.
And at this point for them, it's all or nothing. They've now committed to their strategy. They've committed to what they have, and they've got to either commit all the way and hope that it works out, or accept the fact that, they rolled the dice and it came up 7. It came up crap 7 to 7 out everybody. So I've got a feeling that they're definitely willing to take the risk here. And it's one of those things. It's either the most brilliant move they've done or the most questionable move they've done. And we'll find out in about 30 laps to go, 35 laps.
We're at 88. We'll take it at 89. So 99, 09, 19. That's 30, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We got 36 laps to go. So if we get another caution, 6-7 laps, everyone's coming back in, and we're not really worrying about pit stops unless we get green, white checkered on the horizon.
Which we could. Now remember, if there's a green-white checkered, we'll only have 2 attempts at it before we call it. So, but we'll worry about that when we get there. As the 96 about to take his first lead, green flag flies and Reynolds gets a good jump. Brault comes along for the ride. Arrowhead in the lead.
They're going to try to block these lanes and make them wide for Arrowhead here. 1-2 at the moment. Sasek, though, got a little bit wheel spinny, a little bit further back. Sosi ready to capitalize, and you can see the hive mind swarming the honeykeeper, I guess you'd say. Some bee analogy later. Sasek falling back here and falling into the clutches of the pack here.
Looks like there might have been a car dropped way down low. Yes, it was, but no damage on that car. That was the I believe the 05 machine that got a little bit around. That's James Wright. He is okay, though, so we'll continue to go green flag racing as the pack continues to buzz like a hornet's nest. Everybody scrambling, everybody looking for where they want to be. It will still be Reynolds, Brault, Caitlin Height up front. First battle is going to be between Martin Roberg and Joshua Gaiman.
Yeah, Roberg and Gaiman have had this battle for the past couple laps, neither really giving the other inch. Gaiman high up the road, though, and sent around big into the inside wall. That could be the big one. Caution is at the moment flying. Cars now fanning out here, and it is a big lick there. You can see we come to the tail end. Casey Ellis pretty much stopped stationary. Elias Flores smoking, and Josh Gaiman, tons of carbon fiber sliding down the racing track here. And it's just when one car spins in front of the pack, sometimes you got nowhere to go.
I think the 11 had plenty of room to go there. Just made a poor choice of lane there as she goes squarely into the 33. 4 cars involved, but it does start with that 33 up front. And it starts at 33 getting loose, maybe with the help of the 35 Roberg.
Yeah, we'll take a look here. We'll bind it up just a bit here just to show you. Coming off into corner 1 here. Keep an eye on that 33 and that 35. They're side by side. Gaiman comes up the road just a bit, clips. Peach comes in, piles in, and then you can see cars fanning out here. Gaiman off the high side. There's Trout and Flores and Ellis. Nowhere to go. Odd spot nonetheless, but they pile in and basically total 2 more cars there.
So 4 cars involved in this incident, and Josh Gaiman, who has had such a strong run last week, was running very good this week with his teammates. Great run. That's going to come to a premature end. And everyone's asking the same thing I'm asking. What was the 11 doing there? The 11 could have easily avoided that incident, but instead she charges straight in and brings Elias Flores with her.
Yeah, we'll take a look here as well. We'll see if we can get an onboard shot with her right now. You can see as she's currently out of corner 3 here, corner 2, going into corner 2, watching on board here with the number 11. You're going to see the wreck kind of ply up just the road here. And you can see Flores puff the smoke, maybe thinking it's slow. You can see a lot of smoke here, and at that point, there's a car there. So maybe in that big cloud of smoke, just nowhere to go. You think the cars have kind of gone low. You think it maybe just be a puff of smoke, and by a little bit too late, bam, there's a car right there, almost like a jump scare in a horror video game.
Elias Flores getting on the radio, apologizing to everybody involved there. He's like, I couldn't stop in time and didn't see the accident. So 3 cars we know will be done for the night as a result of that accident. And just poor timing all the way around, and that will end a 3 drivers run. But that's going to be a big blow for the Lady Liberty Valfreya block, as those drivers were so strong up front and had a great contingency up there. Now that contingency is down by 1.
Yeah, indeed. That's another bullet in the gun gone. Even for Arrowhead, too, they lost Ellis. That's another gun shot. Even Ascent Racing lost a driver, too. So a lot of strong teams losing a lot of drivers there in that incident. Worth noting, handful of cars elected to come in on lap 91. Pacey Wygant, Byron Jones here, back a little bit further back here, including Reynolds and Braille. They both come in and give up the lead to come in and top off, get fuel, I should say, and 4 tires. On lap 91, it's still not at that range, but it's in a believable distance that when we go back racing at maybe lap 94, when we get green, if it stays green, it could be a number that these cars coming in, topping off at 91 could hit, especially if you come off and again, that's going to be at like 31 plus 32. You only have to save a lap or 2 of fuel. And now that puts the pressure on these cars like Height, Sosi. You can see more cars coming in, but Height, Sosi, Roberg, that probably still have a pit stop they need to take unless we get more caution laps.
More drivers coming down pit road before we go to the green flag. Like Zier comes down pit road. Pacey Wygant comes down. Elias Flores still stuck there. Jeremy Brialt again. And the 96 Time Reynolds again. I feel like these are going to be some top-off stops. They're just going to get as much gas as they can put into it and hope that they, in fact, can stay out there as long as they can. Yes, for all those drivers, it's a top-off stop before they go back to green flag racing. This is a strategy move. They're doing everything they can at this point to fill it up with as much gas so they can go the rest of the way.
Yeah, they are topping off, trying to hit those magical numbers and get that extra little fuel in to make sure they can get to the end of this race here. But back up front, you can see as we officially got the one to go here, it's going to be Height, Sosi, row 1, Lady Liberty lockout, with Broberg, Peach, row 2, Henderson and Constantinu, row 3, Sharp, Meredith, row 4, and Connor Morse out for any of your first 5 rows. Obviously, Connor Morse was our pole sitter, was in the back early because of an EOL and a drive-through, had to avoid an early wreck early on, and is now back inside the top 10, so keep an eye on him. We know he has good speed. The question is, can he finally flex it just above 30 laps to go?
So when we go back to green flag racing with about 32 laps left, plus or minus, it will be Caitlin Height once again as your leader, and this time she's going to elect to start down low. Her teammate Josh Masusi will be on the high side, so 2 by 2 into the Geico restart zone they go. Caitlin Height hits the loud pedal, and she gets actually a very good run off the bottom. She'll be assisted by Martin Roberg, who wants to get a piece of that lead, but can the 20 or 81 of Sosi block him off and keep it Lady Liberty 1-2?
We'll have to see. Roberg, we know, is someone that is fast, is going to take no prisoners, will definitely throw something if the opportunity goes. Maybe after what happened with the Gaiman incident, maybe a little less zealous to try to really force something. As we see coming off into 3, though, Morris on the low side, and so is Roberg, as Hunter Peach looking to capitalize on the high side. But up front, Sosi still trying to avoid the challenge. As you can see, Roberg really trying to charge in the front there and try to get Sosi up and undered.
Caitlin Hyde continues to lead out there in the number 3 machine. It'll be Joshua Susi up high, blocking off Hunter Peach, Martin Roberg, and Bianca Constantino now in the top 5 as well. The foreign drivers now starting to make some noise as Constantino, Peltier, Sharp, and company all in the top 6. Blake Henderson in the group as well.
Yeah, if Constantino finds a way to win this race, people are going to start calling her an oval merchant instead of a road course ringer, and I think that definitely shows the growth she has shown. Right there, though, Hunter Peach and the Pizza Wings machine. Remember, has won so far this season at Atlanta, and they touch with Sosi. Sosi a little bit up the road there, and that is going to cause a bit of a catastrophe. As you can see, Constantino and Henderson going to split the gap, so put the Romanian driver in the second. Henderson now sitting in third, and they've gone from the have-nots to the haves. And you can see now going to try to hang on to those spots.
Caitlin Height, the biggest beneficiary of all that infighting, because the more they fight amongst each other, the farther away she can get from the group. Constantino shot the gap and now is running cleanly in second behind them. 2 wide, 3 wide for position. Josh Sosi in that battle as well. Blake Henderson in that battle, but on the high side, it's going to be Blake Henderson on the high side now trying to get his first position inside the top 5 tonight. He will now move to position number 4. Martin Roberg behind him, and Lily Sharp not to be counted out. She's going to try to move in the top 5.
Yeah, we just saw Sharp hit the wall just a bit there coming off corner exit. Hopefully it doesn't kill her exit speed. You can see how much of a fight it is. Dustin Hall, after getting his lap back, is now up to the top 10 to 2. Another maybe where did he come situation, as he is in a big little gaggle of cars right now looking for some maybe redemption after what happened at Pocono a couple weeks ago. But up front, you can still see it is Caitlin Height and leading the way with Constantino and Sosi coming up and filling the mirrors here.
Caitlin Hyde showing the way for all the drivers. Constantino second, Josh Susi third. Blake Henderson makes a great run, puts himself in position number 4, and Lily Sharp now in 5. 3 wide behind them as Zachary Meredith fights in that group. Connor Morse, your pole sitter, was also now fighting in that group. Martin Roberg right in the middle of that pack. They run 3 wide perfect through turns 1 and 2. Can they hold on down the backstretch?
Oh, you can see it's getting a little RG bar between Hall, Meredith, and Roberg and Morse here, as they are basically not leaving much space here, as Roberg is sinking like a stone in the ocean, as he is really falling back here at the moment. pinned on that high side, just trying to find a lane or a situation to get some draft here, and Morse will come in and give him some help here, but he is currently still buried at the moment behind some traffic. But up front again, Constantinu is still charging upward here, and she's really making inroads. She is definitely going to be on that back bumper of height before we hit 25 to go.
Will definitely be on that back bumper, but still a lot of drivers who want to be there as well. Plenty of racing left to do. And so far after that, everyone's starting to calm down a little bit. First driver out of line is going to be Roberg as he tries to get around Morse in for fourth position. Number 7, side by side they will go. And the 74 and 35 fighting for position.
Yeah, they are fighting hard here and fighting indeed for spots up in second as well with Constantinu and Sosi. That battle will rage on, but like you were talking about, Morse, Roberg, and Meredith all there. And look at Constantinu. She gets a little loose there, but she saves it. Still loose. Saves it again. Good wreck avoided. Sosi a little bit low too. They are flipping and sliding and slipping, but no one has looped it.
Nobody has looped it. We stay. Green flag racing as now Sosi drops back. He drops now to a 3-wide fight with Constantino, and I believe that's going to be the 17 machine, maybe? No, that's going to be the Wild Cherry machine and the 57. Everyone recovers it. Everyone's back in position. Caitlin Height, the big winner of that one, though, as she gets a huge run over Blake Henderson, Lily Sharp, and others.
This raises a question I want to bring up. It's at 25 to go here. If you're the leader right now, do you want right now to be leading per se? Because there is still some fuel concerns, and the driver that leads the train can't really control the field. But look at Constantinu get a little loose as well. We'll have to hold that thought as Constantinu getting bullied and bodied here as she's still trying to find a form. And look at Joshua Sosi. He wants to get back up there and challenge this race win, making moves on 2 drivers, and is looking to slot back up. So not letting a bad incident hold him down, showing the signs of a true champion.
So Susie gets around Dustin Hall and Martin Roberg there. Now Dustin Hall wants his position back. And going back to your question, if I'm the leader, do I want to lead? Yes, absolutely. Now I'll tell you why. The way all these drivers are driving back here, the way that they're struggling, the way that they're fighting amongst themselves, another caution is going to come out. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And if I'm up front, I have a perfect avoidance strategy. Nobody's near me. Nobody's around me. Let them wreck for themselves. I'll continue to lead this race.
I will agree on that point, especially with how chaotic it is. I would not want to be back there, but if it does somehow stay green, that is just a ticking time bomb for that 3, and I just don't know if she's got the economy to do it. But obviously, I've been proven wrong before, and I will continue to get proven wrong. As we watch this battle for second onward, you can see right now it's the Henderson show in second, but you can see right there is still all hands on deck a little bit further back as Sosi and Hall still side by side. Sosi trying to recover what he lost, and is still struggling at least a little bit here. As you can just see, it's pretty much Candemonium from second on back.
Caitlin Height now is a small time zone away from everybody else. Blake Henderson has worked his way up to second. Lily Peltier Sharp in third. Zachary Meredith fourth. And Connor Morris rounds out your top 5. But don't look now. Here comes Josh Susi once again. 4 wide behind him as they start spinning. They start getting wild. And it's going to be, I believe, the number 8 machine that's going to cut the grass. He'll save it. Saving us a caution flag.
Oh, no, we're not.
Horribly.
Yeah, nope, that's going to be a caution right there. Cut away, and you can see Smeal just came up and got T-boned by, I believe, Shad Swatsworth. As you can see right there, there's Smeal. Swatsworth as well with a torn front end. That engine is officially smoking, and you can just see it was a major wreck here. Smeal has had to now officially jump to pit lane. So we'll take a look, especially at the beginning of that, of where it eventually played off. You can obviously see 4 wide coming off corner 1 and 2, and you know that usually doesn't work well at Michigan. So as you watch here, you can see coming in the corner, Constantinu, Pendel, Arnold, and Smeal that. You can just see a little contact there between Constantinu and Smeal, spins it around, and looks like Smeal has it saved, still trying to save it, and it just gets a little loose here at the end and kicks back up right into Swatsworth, who just maybe was trying to make a move there and ends up basically T-boning the 8 instead.
I think it's a situation where the 8 just kind of ran out of talent there. He had it saved, got back on the accelerator a little too soon, got back in the grass where there's no traction, and ultimately that's what's going to spell out his doom tonight. The 8 had a great run out there, got a great way of looking at it, great way of trying to get around, but just tried too much too late and end up getting into the 18, and that will make 2 cars prematurely close their efforts tonight.
Yeah, we'll take two more looks at this. Obviously, Tommy Reynolds also got a lick here, too. Obviously, a little bit further back in the incident, just kind of minding his own business in this battle with Byron Jones. And you're going to see, obviously, just up the road here, you see Swatsworth in the 97 A-Set machine, and they're just going to come up on the scene here. And then you'll see Swatsworth get hit right about there, and then Reynolds gets loose trying to avoid it. Good avoidance, though, by the 96, but then gets into Byron Jones at the tail end and just nowhere to go. One more quick look we'll take as well, and we're going to watch on board this time with Shad Swatsworth, and he is going to have a painful moment here as he is going to see the moment where he T-bones David Smeal.
Yeah, he's going to watch right here as he sees everything happening in front of him. He's like, all right, if I just play it cool and run high, I won't have that issue. Then the 18 breaks, and he tries to make an evasive move, but not going to happen as he's literally nowhere to go. Bad luck, bad timing, everything for the 18 machine of Swatsworth, and Swatsworth will also end his night as well. Definitely not a great way to finish things.
Yep, pit lane was a crowded place during that stop while we were watching. Everyone is officially have come on in. So everyone should be good to go. They've hit their magical number of 20 to go. Even if we hit the magical 3 green-white checkered attempts, it could get close, but I think all these cars should be able to get just enough. So pit lane is officially, and you're not coming back in unless you wreck. And it's going to be height sharp row 1 when we do go green. And this has not really worked out for drivers like Reynolds and Braille, who stayed out, came in the previous time, and obviously Reynolds got in that accident with Jones and Swatsworth and Smeal, and Braille is now still buried in traffic, currently inside the top 10, but in 9th, not where he probably want to be at the moment. But height, playing her cars to perfection, she will have the lead when we go back to green with 18 laps to go.
And that is exactly why I said, when you asked if you're in the lead, do you want to keep leading? Absolutely, because as I knew something like that was bound to happen. Now, again, it wasn't malicious. Nobody got spun. Nobody got destroyed out there. It was just a matter of, with the way they were racing, bad luck and bad timing coming into play, and that creating a lot of calamity for everybody. And now we've got a very spicy front row. 2 drivers who are open rivals to one another. Caitlin Height, Lily Peltier Sharp will start side by side. We saw them literally fighting it out at Suzuki East last week. I think this is going to be round 2, and the gloves are off.
I mean, even that point as well, you got some very hungry drivers behind that second row. Henderson, Meredith, the defending champion of the series. Henderson, longest winless streak in HTL currently. They both want to get that win. They both want to punch your tickets to the playoffs. They haven't been in over 2 years. They want to get that win. They're ready to strike. Then you got Sosi and Hall. Sosi, 3 wins this year. Dustin Hall probably should have won at Pocono, but all the cautions and all the green-white checkers caused him to not have enough fuel to make it to the end. And then you got Morse and Arnold. Morse, the rookie. Arnold, another strong driver that is still looking for his first win in a long time, too. So a lot of hungry drivers wanting to get that win, but they're going to have to upset that 3 Ferrari machine. And you know, like you were saying, Joe, there's going to be no love lost between Sharp and Height.
Absolutely none whatsoever. And again, with such a talented group behind them, with all these drivers hungry for a win, especially right in front of the playoffs, so the playoffs in view, this is going to be this restart could effectively decide the race.
It could if we do not have another caution. That is. Pace car going to pull on off here. It's going to be on Height's control as she is on that outside line, the lane chosen for the drivers restarting here. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch by her and Meredith. Sharp spun the tires just a tiny bit, and she could be under pressure here for losing second.
She could easily be under pressure. She's going to be on the inside. Blake Henderson back there watching as Zachary Meredith tries to get the advantage and tries to take the advantage of the lead. Not going to happen, though, as Petelier Sharp gets her wits about her. Will get back in line. Caitlin Height continues to lead as they go single file now through the first 6 spots.
Yeah, they are all fighting quite nicely here. Single file at the moment, but now you can see Henderson just back there. Jeremy Braille trying to charge on the low side here. This is we're only 5th, 6th, and 7th on our screen at the moment as they are charging. And then you can see Sosi, stage 1 winner, I should say, trying to make a move on Meredith there as they'll be side by side heading off into 1.
side by side. Now into turn one, it'll be 2x2 going side by side, almost 3 wide as the 81 nearly makes contact with the 17 of Meredith. Now 3 wide as the 12 is going to get in the mix as well. So nowhere to go for, I believe that's the 17 machine, and he's going to start falling back. No, that's the, yes, it is the 17 machine going to start falling back through the field. We have a new top 3, maybe a new top 2 if Joshua Susi has something to say about it.
Look at that. Morse running the 17 up the road there. They are 4 wide again. It looks like Clavitt got on the fender of Braille. I believe actually it was Henderson, my mistake. But we all keep it clean and green, even though Clavitt's going to lose a ton of spots and maybe have some angry messages for Henderson after this race. 16 laps to go. Here's the battle for this spot's here. Basically 7th on back under a blanket. But if we go up the second, Sharp and Sosi, they're fighting as well. And I don't think they have the best temperate either. As you'll see Henderson and Meredith, they door each other on the backstretch.
All eyes are on the top 4 right now as Height continues to lead. The more they fight behind her, the bigger her lead will get. So Height continues to lead. Sharp and Susie for second. Dustin Hall coming along for the ride. And behind them, a whole hornet's nest. About 3 wide coming around. Josh Arnold, Blake Henderson, and Zachary Meredith. They're all going to continue fighting. Behind them, 4 wide. As I believe that's I believe that is the four machine. Zachary Apperson, he's nearly going to go 4 wide and almost cause calamity around the 20 Peach.
Yeah, that is pure chaos. You do not want to be 4 wide in a spot like that. You can see one car going way low. That's the 00. Pacey Wygen, he will save it more importantly, though, and he will get back on the track, but some spots lost for that 00. Further up there, you can see Constantino, Roberg, and Braille side by side for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Is again, no driver really truly conceding spots here this late on. You will not lift. You will not really let go. You are fighting, and if you the way to say it best, you either go flat out or you end up crashing.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is do not talk about Fight Club, and the third rule is if it's your first time showing up, you gotta fight for your wins, and everybody here is doing that. You think it's their first night, the way they're fighting all through the field out here, especially when they go almost 3 wide, but towards the back of the field, towards position number 10. Zachary Meredith, Blake Henderson, Connor Morse, all almost taking their business into turns 3 and 4. They will think better of it, as now for the first time this stint, Caitlin Height about to be under fire from Lily Sharp and Josh Susi.
Yeah, they are coming, and they are coming quick. Roberg just set the fastest lap of this race, a 39.08, clearing the bar by 0.2 on this personal best here. So he has got a fast 35 here, and he's showing why he was on the front row for this race by qualifying speed. But look at Sosi, wants to try to make it a Lady Liberty 1-2 here, block the rear gunner spot, gonna go low. Dustin Hall trying to split the middle. This is the battle for a second, and it's raging on here. Hall gets a little bit squirrely, trying to jump back in front of Sosi. Can't get it done, though. Gonna lose time, trying to cut off Roberg. Still fighting hard here. Hall just trying to get a spot and get the anchor settled here as Braille and Constantino all under a blanket here as Hall try to stop the bleeding.
2 by 2, they go into turn number 1 and 2. Hall finally has a handle on that car, but not before losing 3 positions as a result. Hall Roberg, now the 44 of Braille, makes hard contact with the inside wall coming off turn number 2. He's going to lose at least 3 positions. Back up front, it's Sharp once again fighting with Susi for position number 2.
Yeah, Sharp wants it back. She was hungry for this win. She's winless. She's been winless. She knows she needs a victory per se to try to get herself a chance to make the playoffs. But right now, she'll have to slot into P3 at the moment, which is probably a bit of a kick in the teeth for the French driver. Currently sitting in 30th in points, so she really is going to need a win at some point if she wants to capitalize. Right now on the low side, though, pinched low. She's getting a good run here. It's going to be side by side down the backstretch, but this is what the 3 wants to see. Infighting, fighting behind the mirrors, allowing options to break out here as Dustin Hall is going to clear Sharp, and now Sharp falling backwards.
Sharp going the wrong direction. She should fall to about position number 5 at this point as Susi tries to pinch off Hall. Hall having nothing to do with it. They almost go door at each other side by side into the front stretch. Dustin Hall will take away position number 2. Susi not having it, and now Martin Roberg and Lily Sharp side by side. A lot of fighting going on, and all Caitlin Height is doing right now is looking in the rearview mirror and watching it all happen in real time.
Oh, Hall and Sosi just touched each other. Big door action here. Neither giving an inch. Sharp going to try to push Hall clear. Outside looking to prevail. That car will now come low to block Joshua Sosi. Now it's going to be Sharp and Sosi fighting for P3 here, as now Broberg and Constantinu ready to join the dance party.
Caitlin Height continues to lead. We're on lap 116 of 125. Less than 10 to go, 9 to go at this juncture. Height in the lead. Hall second. Behind him, side by side, Broberg, Susie, Constantinu, and Sharp. Teammates and teammates, Stepping Stone and Lady Liberty, all in the mix as well. This could come down to who has the better relationships.
Yeah, this is where making friends and not making enemies can help you. But when you get the 2 to go, 3 to go, if you got a hungry, desperate driver, they don't care if you're a friend. They'll say, hey, I'm friends with you every other week, but check your friendships at the door when you come into racing. Look at that 4-shot back there. Oh, it's going to be a wreck. It's going to be Apperson, Peach, Thompson, Danny spinning through the grass here, and they're going to mow through victory lane. That's a bad omen. You do not want to go through victory lane until you earn it, as they will all come back up. But Zachary Apperson getting the worst of it, as they were 4 wide coming off of 4, and also Thompson hitting that inside wall as well.
The other person who does not want to see that caution flag is the driver of that number 3 machine, Caitlin Height. She had such a head of steam built on the rest of this field, and now she has to woe it down. And there's a lot of drivers here who are looking to now have the potential to steal it away.
So we're going to watch here on the replay here. You can see right now, you can see 3 wide coming to 4 wide here. And look at that. Peach gets into Apperson. Apperson on Pendel. It looks like they got it straightened out. There you can see the 97 machine come in to crash the party. Pendel spins Apperson. And then you'll see a little bit later, you can see Thompson and Denny both going through the grass areas. They end up getting a piece of it as well, as they have to come down here.
So tough break for Selena Thompson. Tough break for the 4 of Apperson. Definitely not what you want to have happen at the end of the race, considering all the work that you have done. Let's take a look at that one more time. It starts with Apperson, then just collects Selena Thompson, and I believe what's that, the 36?
Yeah, it's a 29 of Alfred Denny.
29, Alfred Denny, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
29, Alfred Denny gets collected as well. Just tough break at the end of the race. I mean, what more can you say?
Yeah, what more can you say? Luckily, again, minor damage for most of those cars, so they all should be able to continue. And pit road, a bit of a crowded place, though, is 14th on down, all elected to come in. Hey, why not try to roll the dice here, get some fresh tires if you have them, and really try to make it work. This is where it also comes into concern as well, as maybe it won't play a factor here, but remember, there's an incident limit now. It's a lot lower than it was in previous weeks and years, where there's a risk if you get a lot of incidents over and over and over again, you could be at a risk of disqualification. So some of these drivers, we don't obviously know what number they could be or could be at. I think most of these drivers have kept it clean as we've seen. But there is that risk for some of those drivers like Reynolds, like Thompson, like Sasick, that have been kind of through the wood chipper a little bit, like Morse. They could be coming close to hitting that incident cap. They really got to make sure they keep it clean here on out, because if you get a disqualification, you're looking right now at the very least maybe P33 points instead of what could be maybe top 20, top 15, even top 5 if you really find your way towards the front.
Lights remain on this time by in the pace car. They should come off next time by, and if so, we will have a 5-lap run for the finish, assuming we don't go to one of those green-white checkered finish. Now, again, they've changed the rules here. There's no longer an unlimited set of green-white checkered finishes to end the race. They will have 2 attempts to finish this race, or I'm sorry, 3 attempts to finish this race under green-white checkered conditions. If we are forced to restart with less than 2 to go, we'll go into that condition. If the yellow comes out before the white flag comes out under those conditions, we'll stick them up and try it again. We'll have 3 attempts at that, and then we'll declare a winner based on the position when the final yellow flag comes out. But I know all these drivers are hoping it doesn't come down to that, especially the driver of that 3, Caitlin Height.
Been dominating so far. She'll have her teammate behind her on this restart. It is going to be Height Hall row 1, Sosi Constantino row 2, Roberg Sharp row 3, Meredith Morse row 4, Mongold Henderson your first 5 rows. And I'll ask you this question, Joe, right now. If we gave you 100 virtual dollars, who are you putting your virtual money on right now to pull out this checkered flag here with 5 to go?
Virtual dollars?
I'm not giving you real money. I'm not getting paid enough.
Caitlin Height or Josh Susie. I'm going to split the bet. I'm going to put the 3 and the 81. I think they've been the strongest cars all night. They've got the feel for the track, and I think they've got the opportunity to have a big night for Lady Liberty. Who are you going to put your money on?
Honestly, I think the split ticket will work for you, but I'm going to go can't bet against Lady Liberty. Height, Sosi, I think it's going to be one of them two. They'll, at the very least, they are going to get a 1-2 here. I can't bet against teamwork and support here. Friendship wins in the end, and all those sports animes have proved that right except for one. Anyway, though, pace car is going to get ready to pull on off here. It is going to be on the control of Caitlin Height here. Hall, though, hungry. 6 wins in this series, looking to try to make it 7 here as they get ready to enter the Geico restart zone here. 5 left, mad dash for the cash. Away we go. And you can see Hall right now trying to squeeze Sosi as Sosi gave that shot to the 3. Oh, Hall got spun.
And the caution flag immediately comes out on that incident. So we will go into overtime as a result of that. That's going to be a little embarrassing if you're Dustin Hall there.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation as well. Obviously, we saw it on the far shot there. I don't know if we need to take a look again, but it would be kind of cool to at least see the restart there from maybe Sosi's perspective. So I think we'll pull that up real fast here just to see Sosi on Sosi's camera here as he was just kind of just pushing stats. So we're on the restart here following Joshua Sosi, and you're going to see we fire off here right away, giving a shove to the teammate, telling her to go in communication, and you can see the 12 just trying to box, trying to crowd, and then, well, you crowded a bit too much. Over the hook you go.
Yeah, I think that was an error on the 12 of Hall. And if we can take a look from his perspective there inside the cockpit, if we could,
Right.
because
Yep.
I've got a feeling if we look at that, either his spotter didn't tell him he was clear or something else happened there. And well, I'll take it back. As we look from the cockpit, he might have been the 81 who accidentally gave him a little too much there.
And we're seeing right now in the cockpit here, and you can see doesn't hook the wheel, doesn't turn it. So overall, maybe 2 drivers fighting very hard here, fighting very aggressively, just trying to make it work here. I think we'll take one more look here as well, maybe from the rear camera here from the gearbox, and we'll take a look. This is Dustin Hall's gearbox here. See if it provides any information here. There's the shunt here.
Oh.
And then you're going to see right there just maybe trying to come low, trying to do something. And he's kind of holding a line. You never see him really make a move low there. So very odd situation throughout as just overall just 2 drivers fighting hard here, and Hall going to be the big loser in that situation.
This could also be netcode. Let's give them all the benefit of the doubt, because this could also be a little bit of netcode as well. This could be the computer predicting that there was going to be an incident between the 2 of them and ultimately spinning it out themselves. So let's not say it wasn't malicious, but it was definitely an error, an unforced error on somebody's part.
I just think it's two just hard drivers fighting hard. You know, Dustin Hall feeling that pressure, maybe knowing he's a driver that should probably have a win by now, and he's currently winless. Obviously, at the moment, he's right now also on that cut line, 3 above the line coming into the night. You know he's feeling that pressure like, hey, I'm a person that will be fighting for championships. I'm on that cut line. I'm having a bit of a rough season. I want to get that win. I want to get the sweat off my back for the next 4 weeks and don't have to get into the Thunderdome to try to get those points. So right now, though, he is now going to fire off way in the back. P28 is where he is going to sling off from. So if he was trying to bleed points and try to make something happen, it's just going to be overall. So overall, though, Hall going to have to try to recover here and try to get as best he can. And now we are officially in green-white checkered territory. And like you said, Joe, 3 attempts at it now, but Lady Liberty going to have that front row. And I think right now, my prediction is at least looking a little bit nice right now.
You mean my prediction? You just stole my prediction. You realize that.
You know what? Hey, Joe, listen. It doesn't matter who came up with the idea as long as we both work together to get to the end. I may have Edisoned your idea, but we're both going to win in the end if it holds out.
So very interesting dynamic here as you've got 2 Stepping Stone Motorsports drivers behind the 81 and 3, the 2 Lady Liberty Motorsports drivers. A little bit of tension here, a little bit of rivalry between those 2 teams, and we only have 2 laps to solve the problem here. The 3 and 81 will start on the front row. They have the advantage, but Bianca Constano and the 71 of Lily Peltier Sharp, they're also teammates as well. They can also be looking to get together and seeing what they can do here. I'm fascinated to see what happens next.
I know this is going to be interesting. Again, team dichotomy, team friendships, they've been loyal to each other. And obviously, I don't think that expect to change here. I don't think they're going to wreck each other because there's no $1 million on the line. But if we talk about, let's say, this is what we see at Auto Club in 12 weeks. I don't think they'll be as friendly. I think it's going to be gloves off to the line, and if maybe there's a chance both of them don't come back to said finish line in one piece. But now we're going to be on green, white, checkered. It's going to be Height, Sosi, row 1, Constantinu, Roberg, row 2, Sharp, Meredith, row 3, Morse, Mongold, row 4, Henderson, Apperson, your first 5 rows.
And then there are 2 drivers here that are really a wild card to me. The 35 of Roberg, he doesn't really have any allegiances to anybody out there. And the 17 of Meredith, the coast-to-coast racing driver, doesn't have any friends to work with. He's going to be looking for whoever he can work with out there to make it work. So, lots of wild cards, lots of team dynamics in play. Pace car is going to get out of the way for all this insanity. Let's go racing one more time around Michigan. Green flag flies. Height has the advantage. She gets a big run. Joshua Susi now holds up, lets her partner get in the lead, and now she's going to hold off Constantino and others as they go into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Constantino maybe thought about doing something there, but just couldn't really get it done here. So it's going to be Height, Sosi, and then you can see Constantino going to be in the catbird seat, but does she have the ability to upset this Lady Liberty kind of thing there? Big fender popped off the wide shot there. We are now having yellow flags. That was damage for someone. We'll see if we can find out. There is your cause right there. James Wright, and I believe that is Bobby Blowers, going to be stuck in the wall here. So that is going to be the first green, white, checkered. Crumple it up, throw it in the bin. We got 2 more attempts here at a green, white, checkered. And yeah, overall, though, just drivers fighting hard here.
In this case, a 0-5 just got out of sorts coming off of turn number 2. Big wiggle on that car, and that's going to put him sideways in front of the 97. So James Wright gets in front of Bobby Blowers, and those 2 cars will end their night a little bit later than they thought, but definitely earlier than they would have liked.
Yeah, that was just a big wiggle by both him and Clavitt. And you also see Dustin Hall and Gary Donaldson get a little bit of a contact there. But overall, very minute accident, but probably terminal damage for James Wright and Bobby Blowers as well. Probably just a day dunner for him as well. So back to live action we are. Sorry to cut you off there, Joe. You can see Bobby Blowers dealing with the war scars of that incident. Going to try to tough it out here, but with White having to tow to pit lane, it is pretty much curtains for him to get a chance to finish on the lead lap.
A little bit of shakeup now as we get ready for green, white, checker 2 out of 3. Caitlin Height will still be number 1. Joshua Susi now 2nd. Bianca Constantino will be in 3rd. So depending on where the 3 starts, the 57 could be immediately behind her. We'll have to see what happens there. The 57 of Roberg will be in 4th, and Lily Peltier Sharp will move up to position number 5. Will move back to position number 5. Zachary Meredith in 6th. No, is that correct? No, Meredith will move to 5. I don't know what's going on there. All I know is a lot of teammates have been broken up except for those 2 Lady Liberty drivers up front.
Yeah, no, it is Height, Sosi, Constantino, Roberg, Meredith, your top 5 here right now. Lady Liberty will still have that front row lockdown with a death squall, if you will. You can see Casey Ellis coming around the high side here, going to get 1 of their laps back. I don't think that will put them on the lead lap. Yep, they'll still be at least, I got 3 down on my scorecard here. So at the very least, though, we'll probably get 1 more spot with James Wright currently still in pit lane. That will put Ellis and Wright probably on the same lap, so that could be a fight there for 30th and 29th. But Height, Sosi, they worked their magic that time on the restart. They're going to try to do it again here. The question is, will it lead to the same success? Or maybe Constantino, Roberg, Meredith, Sharp, maybe a little bit wise to what happened and try to maybe upset this a little bit.
So the 3 of Height will lead 1 more time. Susi in 2nd, Constantino in 3rd, and this should be our final pace lap. They only have 2 more attempts at this, so this will be very entertaining to see what exactly happens and how drivers react to this new rule.
Yeah, no, because usually, at least when you had multiple green, white, check unlimited attempts, you could recycle. As long as you had fuel in the tank and didn't damage it, you could keep going and going and going and going. But now with the unlimited, the less attempts here, if we come to the last green, white, checkered attempt and you are, let's say, 4th, this is your last chance. If we get a caution where we even get a chance, if something happens in the back, then you get stuck. And kind of like Takuma Sato says, no attack, no chance. So as these green, white, checkered attempts dwindle down, you get less attempts to really try to do something, which is not really a bad thing. It keeps drivers in check to force them to really be doing stupid things. But at the same point, though, it also turns up that aggression, knowing that, hey, I get less attempts at this. I have to be aggressive at the very least and not take any prisoners. to see
You
if you can
have to attack. No, you're absolutely right. You have to attack. There's no turning back at this point. If you are not a Lady Liberty driver, if you're one of the Stepping Stones drivers, if you're one of the random drivers, the 35 who doesn't have an allegiance, the 17 we're coast to coast racing, if you're the 91 of Austin Mongold, drinking a Dr. Pepper and watching this all take place in front of you, you've got to make a friend quick. You've got to charge it as hard as you can and go as hard as you can. There's no looking back at this point. The last thing you can afford to do is have regrets. And I guarantee you, if they let those two drivers up front take the win, great win for them. They've earned it. But there'll be a lot of drivers who are asking themselves, what could have been?
Yeah, no, leaving that wonder, and especially for drivers needing wins like Meredith, Sharp, Apperson, Henderson, Mongold, Morse. They all know that Roberg as well all don't want to leave chance on the table, especially 4 rounds to go before the playoffs do start. So as we got the pace car ready to pull on here and take the lonesome trip down pit lane, it's going to be attempt 2 of 3 here. It's going to be on Heights control. We'll see what Lady Liberty can do here again without Sosi pushing. See if that plays a factor here as they enter the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out, and away we go. Good launch again by Height. Constantino going to have a chance to maybe put some pressure on Sosi for second.
Height gets away in a hurry. Sosi in second. Constantino doing everything she can to try to take away a second. We'll see what happens here as they go into turn number 1 and 2. Side by side, they go, almost making contact. Almost making contact again. The 57 will not go away, but the 81 is steadfast in his holding.
That may have been the move that may have given Caitlin Height a chance to run away with this, as that's really backed up this train here. And as they come off of 3 and 4 here, multiple cars 4 wide. Baron, we don't see the yellow flag. Looks like the flagman's got in the air. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go. Height 3/10 clear of Sosi and Roberg. And you can see 4 or 5 wide in the back there as they're fighting for the top 10.
Everyone fighting for the top 10. We'll keep our eyes here in this lead group. It will be Caitlin Height, no challenge whatsoever. Susie's going to fall back behind and try to do some blocks for her. Meanwhile, back in that mix, Tell Sharp, others company, big wreck happening behind him. They're going to let him race though. The 77 of Sharp now has the advantage. The 77, of Sharp now has a big advantage on everybody. Has the run. Can she hold off Rober? Can she hold off the 57, her own teammate? Yes, she can. But up front, the 3 of Caitlin Height will be your winner.
Lady Liberty sweeping the weekends here. They have been dominant for us. Back-to-back-to-back wins for this team. And another 1-2 finish for Lady Liberty. Again, if the playoffs were to start today, I don't think you could generally count out these 2 cars making that Final Four, as they have been a dominating force. And maybe even the chain of scenery has really helped Caitlin Height here. She is your race winner here at Michigan. We'll see if she can burn it down. Gibney and a few other drivers showing their love to that 3. And you gotta admit, she had a poor qualifying. Oh, big contact Trout in the Morse. And that just got a race winner a little extra scratches on the race winning diecast. But to go back to my point, with the 3 car, she had a bad pit stop in stage 1. She made that mistake. She went from 28th all the way up to the top 5 and then made that final stage work, played the strategy to perfection, and she is a well-deserving winner here at Michigan.
Not exactly sure why the 74 decided to take some business into his own hands. We will definitely have to get some word on that later. Also getting word that that Bianca Constantino was ultimately disqualified at the end of the run. After making contact with the 17 of Zachary Meredith, she reached her incident limit, and they went ahead and black flagged her immediately. So she's not going to end up finishing top 5 like we thought she would. She's going to actually end up. I believe she did not take the start for the checkered flag at the start finish line, so she will end up at the end of the field. Right now, being scored. I'm not sure where she's being scored at, but she was just end up being disqualified. So we'll have to see how that affects her.
I got her P26 on my timing and scoring board. If she'd end up getting disqualified, it could even be more points lost for that 57 machine, and possibly even a penalty too for hitting that incident limit. We'll take a look at the final results here. Maybe if we can look at the incident as well that topped the last lap, and then get some interviews done. But for your top 10, it's Caitlin Height taking the race victory with Joshua Sosi in second, Pelletier Sharp in third, Roberg fourth, Connor Morris, good job by him to get a top 5, Mongold sixth, Wygent seventh, Arnold eighth, Boone ninth, Henderson rounding out your top 10. And as we move further down, you got Gibney with a good recovery drive after we thought his car was total, getting P11, Zachary Meredith 12th, Hunter Peach 13th, Eli Sasek 14th, Jeremy Braille 15th, DJ Trout 16th, Lilac Sear 17th, Richard Odie 18th, Alfred Denny 19th, Gary Donaldson 20th, Bobby Blowers 23rd, Tommy Reynolds 22nd, Zachary Apperson 23rd, Selena Thompson 24th, and Dean Clavitt 25th. All cars finishing on the lead lap. A lot of good cars finishing on the lead lap. With Constantinu obviously getting disqualified at the end, scored P26. Christopher Pendle in that last wreck, P27th. Casey Ellis 28th. Dustin Hall looks like he had a big incident on the last lap, 29th. James Wright rounding out the top 30. And as we move further down, Byron Jones down to the retirement zone, 31st. Shad Swassworth, 32nd. David Smeal Jr., 33rd. Seth Wansing, 34th. Elias Flores, 35th. Josh Gaiman, 36th. William Britton, 37th. DeMonte Dodson, 38th. And Tommy Withers rounding out the field here. 39 cars taking event in today's festivities.
39 cars, but only one winner. Caitlin Height, the number 3 machine, will take away her second win of the season. I believe her 11th overall. Kevin, I believe Caitlin Height's waiting with you down in Victory Lane.
Yeah, we'll hear her thoughts now. Caitlin, this is Kevin, the ABM booth. You got a copy?
Hi, hello.
Well, you had a very eventful race here. Obviously, your highest position was always first. Your lowest is 29th. But we got to start out at the very beginning for a lot of these things. So take us through kind of those opening laps as you were carving through the field like a hot knife through butter. What was allowing you to make those moves like you almost could see the air?
I don't know. In my mind, I already sort of laid out the groundwork for a strategy that I had to get through the stages. And I just figured, okay, first stage, I just want to try and get clean air and get towards the front. And I just sort of held the bottom down and tried to make passes. It was so hard to do just with how the draft is at this track. It's super difficult to get that run, but I mean, once you clear and you get that clean air on the nose and can track out, it's the car felt phenomenal. But yeah. Then I had the Ferrari strategy call there during the first stage caution and just had to fight back up.
I actually do got to ask, with that mistake there, was that strategy fuel or was that just a mistake? That I'm actually kind of curious on that point.
Basically it was my strategy for the first stage, like to get through it, but I didn't reset everything, so I had to come back down and completely fill up, get 4 tires, and that cost me all the track position, but I was just able to be patient with the tires and the traffic and get back up through.
Moving on, obviously, we saw throughout this whole race, second stage and third stage, we saw you work with Joshua Sosi. So I'm assuming, obviously, you're in the same chat. How much were you two linking up to make this work? Because we saw at the end of stage 2, before that caution came out, you had a healthy gap to the field there. And obviously, in the final stage, you worked quite well together as well. So how much of an influence did you have each other on today's festivities with your 1-2 finish?
I was just trying to help give him my draft when he was racing with everyone else behind. I know that he was just trying to run his line, but everybody behind was just trying to get the runs when they needed because everyone knew that time was ticking down. There wasn't much time left to make moves, make positions, and everyone else was, everywhere on the track. So just trying to help him when I could and all of that. But it's great to see another Lady Liberty 1-2 finish. Josh did a really good job there.
Yeah, it definitely showed out on the track. Moving on, obviously, take us through that last green white checker attempt, the final one, and we saw obviously work together. But what was your thoughts as you got away and you saw Sosi fighting Constantinu coming to the last lap in your mirror?
Basically, well, my whole thought was I need to just focus on getting through up through the gears, get through 1 and 2 because each restart for me going through 1 and 2 as the leader, the car just felt strange, but once I was able to get down the backstretch, take a look in the mirror, just try and spot where Josh might have been so I could help him with draft, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I could at least assist him, but try and pull away so he couldn't get too close. But I know in turns 1 and 2 on the final lap there, I completely blew my line and thought I was gonna give up a whole lot of time, but I was still able to maintain.
Well, obviously, as you won, you know the tradition, Caitlin. If there's anyone you want to thank, family, friends, sponsors, whatever, the floor is yours. Take it away.
First off, all the HTL admins for giving us their time and dedication. I know some weeks are harder than others on them, but they always try and uh they try and present the league first and foremost as their best product in front of everybody every Monday night. ABN for covering all of the action on the track, both you two commenting up in the booth and Kristina giving us the pictures. Uh, Everybody in the LLM and Valfreya conglomerate there for all their input and feedback and just trying to make the team work as well as it can together. And of course, once again, Callie, Lexi, Emily, Kristina, all the dolls back at the shop, just for all the support and everything. I know that they're all watching and chatting, and I mean, obviously, Kristina has to watch, but um, yeah.
Well, obviously, you enjoy that win, Caitlin, and you celebrate like no tomorrows. We'll see if you can chase down the regular season points championship. But you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
All right, thanks.
And that was our race winner, Caitlin Height. And I think Joe has flagged down our second place driver, Joshua Sosi.
Joshua Sosi finishing second tonight. And I have to ask, is it second because Hello Kitty wasn't on the hood?
I mean, maybe, I could have used that little extra horsepower from the pink, but, you know, uh, figured I'd run the scheme here and it was fitting for Michigan, I thought.
Definitely fitting for Michigan, and definitely a strong run overall. First stage winner, second in both stages 2 and 3. How did you and Lady Liberty get this car running so well?
Just a lot of good communication and teamwork. People trying different things in practice. So we had as much data points as we could possibly have come race time, and we were constantly bouncing ideas off. Like I'd brought up taking two and stage two, because even if it didn't work, probably wouldn't net lose too much if it stayed green. And just trying to plan ahead all the time for the end of the race on thinking if we did have a caution at some point that put us around the same lap count, we had some cards to play.
How much did pit strategy affect your run tonight? Because it looked like at a couple times you guys got lucky that a yellow flag came out. If if the third to last yellow flag did not come out, where everyone was able to come down and get reset, uh, would that have affected your finish?
Mm, maybe, but I don't believe so because no one was going to be able to make it on, you know, uh, where we were at that point. You would still have to pit again before the end of the race. It was just like I think the 44 and another car stayed out the caution before, and then they went down and pit again, well, on the immediate caution. And I think that was the wrong play right there. You lose all your track position, and it's so hard, especially at the end of these races where everyone's running so hard to make up any ground.
So looking at the rest of the season, you and Caitlin are blocked in for the playoffs. But looking at the rest of the races coming into this, you have Talladega, you've got Rockingham, then you've got the doubles at Daytona. Anything that worries you for the rest of for the rest of this season, looking at that regular season points championship?
Um, no, I don't believe so because we're Caitlin and I are pretty equal at the plate tracks. Caitlin might run a little better at Daytona. But the buffer I have now, as long as it doesn't go absolutely pair up at the plate tracks and Caitlin's able to survive, I think I'm in a good spot. I won Rockingham last year, so fingers crossed. I should be able to maintain, but you know how, especially with two plate races, a lot of bad luck can happen at any time, and there's a lot of people who need to get that win to secure their playoff spot. And there's a lot of really good and tough plate runners, so it's going to be difficult I think, to acquire any more stage points as far as for playoff points, with the exception of hopefully Rockingham, but it's just kind of like a roll of the dice at Daytona and Talladega. So we'll work our team strat as best we can to try to be in optimal position, but I mean, you know how those races play out, so.
Plenty of time between now and the playoffs. I'm sure we'll speak before then. But until then, Josh, who makes it work for you in the 81 team?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Nitro Setups. If you need your fix for A, B, or C on the open side of NASCAR, go hit them up. Proud to carry them on the car tonight and give Hello Kitty a night off. Everyone at Lady Liberty and our conglomerate with Valfreya, awesome job to Caitlin getting the 1-2 for the team there. Some of the other drivers had some bad luck, but that's how it rolls. And yeah, want to thank the admins for all their hard work, and you all for the great broadcast as usual.
Joshua Susi finishing second tonight here at Michigan. Kevin Young, I believe, is caught up with our third place finisher.
Yes, we pulled in and found her, Lily Peltier Sharp. We'll hear her thoughts now. Lily, this is Kevin the A-Band Booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, got you.
All right. Obviously, you're probably not too thrilled with how the finish ended up just because you looked poised maybe get a win, but we'll have to start at the beginning. Again, you were in the thick of things throughout that pack, so you may have the best perspective of this. How was being 3 wide and 4 wide, especially in that middle groove? How did it feel to be back there?
I don't want to ever hear the word you 4 wide ever again, for starters. 3 wide's fine, 4 is just very sketchy. With how we'll spread out, the dirty air could easily send one of us just up the track, and instantly then you have a field kill over wreck just because of how tight everyone's running. So, was tense at times, especially on that last lap there.
Moving further on, obviously, you're not going to get too much of a reprieve. Next week is Talladega, so you're going to pretty much get the same 3 wide, 4 wide experience, except for longer stints. Moving on, obviously, we saw you throughout the race kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down, and then eventually you kind of found your rhythm charging forward. So I guess take us through those last 25, 30 laps where you were just up there at front and the strategy played out. What did you think you had to do to try to break up that top 2 of Sharp and Sosi and try to not Sharp, so sorry, Sosi and Height and try to break up Lady Liberty's domination in that front 2 spots?
Nah, there's nothing really could do once they got together on restarts. Team game strong. I think on one of the restarts, especially they worked it really well with Josh starting by giving a huge bump to Height, and that just led a little straight out of the field. Because of the A1 stand. But apart from that, it was either get in the draft or if it went green, try and work with your teammate or my truck teammate, Mark Roberg, to either work a pack to try and get them or just settle for what I can get. At the end, we just had to settle because honestly, there's no way of beating those 2 LLM cars when they're working together as tightly as that.
Moving further on, obviously, again, good finish though, P3, but still a bit further down the points. With 4 weeks to go, what do you think you got to do to get maybe find that car in victory lane or even maybe have a chance to make the playoffs? What's your only 48 down though, so it's still a manageable gap. But what do you think you got to do in these next 4 weeks to try to qualify for the playoffs?
Pray to whatever's out there that our bad luck for the rest of the season's gone, because it's been a bit of a torrid time having good cars and then being taken out by other dumb people doing dumb moves. I know I'm not a saint in that regard, but yeah, I've been just working with a team. Got our two other charter cars almost there. I think Mia needs points and to just get above top 30, and then she's locked in because of the win at Charlotte.
Mhm.
It's just all about getting this another 71 Rubicon Raw Energy Ford Mustang also into the playoffs there.
Well, obviously, still a long road ahead, but definitely wish you well on that. But obviously, it is a been tradition. If there's anyone you want to thank, family, friends, sponsors, whatever, floor is yours. Take it away.
Firstly, I want to thank James Stepstone Motorsports for the obscene amount to get this charter at the start of the season. Beer, Lilac, my teammates, our two eye in the skies that we had, workout strategy, Lily Fraser and Caleb Carr really helped, especially coming to those yellows. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, great talking to Lily. Hope we'll be talking again for the end of the season. If not, you take care. Have a good rest of your week.
You too. Thank you.
And that was our third place finisher, Lily Pelletier Sharp. And Joe, why don't you take us back up here? So I know you're up in the booth. Let's hear the final thoughts about today's festivities today here at Michigan.
Today we really saw how the new rule package came to affect everybody, and you saw it was effectively a cleaner race, a smarter race, and everybody doing what they could to drive the cars to their best of their ability. The changes we saw have definitely made some positive moves, but when everything was said and done, at the end of the day, I think that you're gonna have a hard time getting out ahead of Lady Liberty Motorsports. They've been so dominant the second half of the season. I think they are going to be the team to beat. And everyone's now on notice. What can you do to beat this team, and how bad do you want it? I think that next week, when they go racing at Talladega, we're going to see a new field very hungry, very, very hungry to try to take away some wins and really make some shakeup before we get to the playoffs here for the HTL Cup. But still plenty of racing left to go. We look forward to welcoming you as we go racing for those races here on ABN 1. That'll do it for our crew. We appreciate you joining us tonight. We appreciate you enjoying HTL Cup Series racing live from Michigan with us. We will see you next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, when we go racing from Talladega Super Speedway for the HTL Cup Series. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Kevin Young, our producer, Kristina Ryan, my name is Joe Cortez. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Have a great night, everybody. Good night.